Good afternoon, welcome to Price Memorial Oval in Hawthorn, City of Mitcham, located centrally between the inner suburbs and the foothills of Adelaide. A beautiful afternoon, ground baked in sunshine, greets us here today with a high of 24 degrees forecast, perfect conditions for a grand final. We'll introduce the game and the players. This is Jack Moore alongside Jad Gosson in the filming footy booth for the Division 7 grand final. Live, exclusive and free wherever you may be watching. Welcome inside. Before we get to any of the pre-game, we're lucky enough to have a couple of individuals representing their clubs this afternoon. We've been able to gain the services of Russell Barker, team manager for Ingle Farm. Russell, thanks for joining us.
No worries.
An important day for the club. We've just seen, unfortunately, Ingle Farm, who were undefeated in the reserves season, unfortunately in a tight loss in the reserves game. But you'd be hoping to flip the result in the seniors, given the dominant season in that division.
Yep, for sure. Like you said, it has been a dominant season, but we've all been around football long enough to know that grand finals are a different day, and you have to show up to get the job done.
Yeah, that's right. And when you prepare for a match, it's always a big deal and there's a lot of preparation. But does preparing for a grand final do any different? Do anything different during the week for a grand final?
No, we've just kept it very same business as usual.
Yep.
Kept it all very much the same, and keep things the same.
And you've obviously played an important role being the team manager. It's an underrated role, but one that's very important on game day throughout the season for the reserves. You're looking forward to maybe kicking back this afternoon and hopefully for your sake enjoying an Ingle Farm victory. Yeah,
it'll be nice just to sit back and reflect on the year that we've had and the progress that the club has had. It's been a real tough couple of years, and we're really starting to turn the tide and looking forward to the future.
Exactly. And even though it's finished in misery, unfortunately, for the reserves, even whatever way the main game does go, at least you have still secured that all-important promotion back into Division 6.
Yep, promotion's great. Obviously, you want to win on the big day, but in the grander scheme of things, promotion is great, and it's a great step forward for the football club.
Fantastic. Thanks for joining us, Russell. Russell Barker, the team manager at Ingle Farm.
Thanks
we'll shake hands and we'll whack the headphones off. And we're lucky enough to also have a representative from Houghton Districts joining us in the booth, which is Liam Henderson, the Vice President, as we just have a look at the ground, bathed in sunshine. Kids, families and fans, they've made the long trek across town from both sides to represent their teams this afternoon. As Liam sits down, Liam, thank you for joining us, and sorry for taking you away from the presentations and celebrations of the reserves boys. But one on the board already, and you'll be hoping to make it two with the big game, if I can spit my words out. Only minutes away.
Yeah, that was unreal, to be honest. A great game, I thought. Real reflective of the season. We've had great games against Ingle Farm every time. Obviously, they were undefeated coming in today, but that was an unreal day, and hopefully same result happens again.
Yeah, and as you mentioned, they were undefeated, obviously, in the whole season, and it's a bit of the same story for the A's. They're coming from third on the ladder, making to a grand final, beating Parrot Hills last week. So, do you think the coach would signal that and mention it in the team and try and get the same type of energy going? Yeah,
so being involved with the coaching panel for Adelaide, our philosophy this week is we've got nothing to lose. We've done the work, we've got promotion, and today is really about us just putting it all out there and hopefully representing our club well and coming away with a win.
That's it. As you mentioned, in the reserves and even in the seniors, it looked to be a bit of a mismatch on paper in both games. You've already got the grand final victory in the reserves, and even though 6 wins did separate Ingle Farm and Houghton in the main Division 7 this year, that reserves win would give the senior boys a bit of a boost of confidence, surely, going into this main game, and might just be the tonic that just lifts them that extra 5% needed to win a grand final at the main senior level.
Yeah, absolutely. I'd find it hard not to get pumped after that. Either way, I think it'll be a great game in A grade, and hopefully the result comes our way. But if not, we're pretty proud with what we've achieved this season.
And you mentioned the promotion obviously being very important for the club. Obviously, you hope to win tonight, but whatever happens, you get promoted. And as the vice president, what would change around the club from being in that division a bit higher? Would anything change day to day?
Day to day, it's probably not massively, but it's a massive impact on a footy club. It's what we're here to do, is get up and out of divisions and really build a stable base. Over the last few years, we've done an amazing job of building a strong junior base, which is on show today with all our juniors running water and being around the boys. It's really a one club mentality, and obviously you're judged on your success of your A grade, and we want to progress as far and high as we can.
Indeed. So one grand final in the books already in the reserves for Houghton in what is your 40th anniversary as a club in 2023. So a big milestone, and for your sake anyway, not to be biased, but hopefully for Houghton's sake, a second one starts only minutes away. In any case, hopefully it's enjoyable watch for both sets of fans. Liam, thank you for your time, and you're off now to do some more work, or you get
so
relax and
assistant
enjoy the
coach
game?
of the A grade, so
Oh wow,
get back over onto the panel and hopefully have a nice result here. So
sorry to steal you away. Get back to your
all
job, and thank you for joining us.
That's right. Thanks for having me.
Fantastic.
Thanks for joining us.
Liam Henderson and moments ago Russell Barker, Vice President Liam for Houghton, and Russell Barker, the team manager for Ingle Farm on, as I mentioned, what is this beautiful day that greets us here at the home of the Hawks, Mitcham Footy Club at Price Memorial Oval. And a bit of history for you. Price Memorial Oval is named after Tom Price, South Australia's first Labor Premier. Price emigrated to Australia from Wales in 1883 and, serving as a stonemason, helped to build South Australia's Parliament House before entering politics and establishing a world-first stable Labor government right here in South Australia. On Saturday, 6th of May, 1911, 112 years ago, 2 years after his death, Price Memorial Oval, the ground you see on your screens right now and where we're broadcasting from, was officially opened and graced for the first time. So a beautiful day. Adelaide forecast is 24 degrees. Once again, Jack Moore and Jad Gosson in with you in the filming footy bunker in the trailer on the call of this Division 7 grand final. Again, Hawthorn, home of the Mitcham Hawks, located on Ghana country in the east of Adelaide. Our respects are offered, of course, to Indigenous elders past, present and emerging. As we gather, we have the privilege to be entertained by the cream of the crop in Division 7 football as Houghton Districts meet Ingle Farm in the 2023 decider. Wherever you may be watching from around Australia and around the world, Jack Moore alongside Jad Gosson. And we're in the bunker. You can see a little commentary position, and it's a warm day outside. Lucky we've got a bit of shade, Jad, but welcome to what is the final day of the 2023 season in Div 7 footy.
Yeah, very excited for this one. It's a big game, obviously. Always a pleasure to commentate and be involved in the grand final. Any division, anywhere around Australia, the footy is the big time of the year, especially in September. That's what people play for, and we're lucky to be involved. And it's going to be a very interesting game. Maybe on paper it looks like a bit of a maybe one-sided game, I think it's fair to say, but after that B team, and as we know, grand finals, anything can happen. They'll both be super pumped and motivated to get the win, and the A's, I suspect, would definitely take off a lot out of that B result, as we saw, and they've got a good team. As also Ingle Farm only lost one game all year, which was round 1 to Houghton, so that makes it even more interesting contest. They have reversed a few times since, including once in the finals, which they did get beat by 80 plus points, but they'll take it a lot away from that victory because they know how to get it done. And yeah, it's going to be a very perfect weather and a big crowd, honestly, and great to see in the Adelaide Footy League and everyone coming out to support the local clubs.
So 19 minutes and 13 kilometres separate Ingle Farm and Houghton. Houghton, situated in the city of Teachery Gully between Hope Valley and Cuddly Creek, and Ingle Farm on the outskirts of the northern suburbs in the city of Salisbury between Jepps Cross and Para Hills, the other side of town.
Yep.
Players, coaches, volunteers, supporters, kids, families have had to travel across town, but as you mentioned, Jad, they've shown up in sheer numbers here at Price Memorial Oval, the home of the Mitcham Hawks. They've travelled over 20 kilometres to represent their team and their colours today. Well, in terms of football, a lot more distance on the Division 7 ladder has separated these two throughout 2023. Ingle Farm come in to today the undisputed kings of Division 7 in the regular season, that is, sitting atop the division with 16 wins and 1 loss and a very healthy percentage. 3 wins clear of second place Para Hills, so didn't qualify for the grand final, and 6 wins clear of their opponent today, Houghton Districts, who recorded 10 wins and 7 losses for third position. As you mentioned, Jad, Ingle Farm's only loss of the season, well, came at the hands of their opponents today, Houghton, but it was all the way back in round 1, so how much we can read into that, we'll see. As you mentioned, a mismatch on paper, but you don't make a grand final by luck or chance.
Exactly, yeah, and they've definitely showed their worth. They beat Para Hills twice, in the finals was Houghton. So they were probably underdogs for those games as well and showed a way to win those. Obviously, Para Hills with the famous Daniel Weecher, 122 goals this season, and overcame him. And all the Para Hills were motivated to make the final as well, having been second. But yeah, that's right. You make a grand final. You deserve to be there, and they'll definitely want to show up and prove everyone wrong that's doubting them.
Ingle Farm commenced the 2023 season after being pretty comfortably relegated from Div 6 with 3 wins and 13 losses last year. 2 wins short of survival, but for Houghton, they finished second in Division 7 with 12 wins and 5 losses, but failed to qualify for last year's grand final. So losing their prelim final to Adelaide Lutheran by 68 points. Right here it was, in fact, at Price Memorial Oval, meaning no promotion. So a bit of a failure for Houghton last season. What kind of game do we have ahead of us today, Jad? We've seen a thrilling encounter in the Div 7 reserves. Definitely higher quality football than the name of that division suggests. There will certainly be no excuses, though, with a beautiful spring afternoon gracing us.
Yeah, great weather and great conditions. Not too much wind either way. And they look primed, having a watch of both teams. They're really up for it. The coaches are watching and just giving their final messages. They'll know what to do. It is maybe a little bit warmer than people expect, especially we had a bit of a cold winter, obviously, here in Adelaide. So 24 degrees to play footy in is maybe a little bit on the warmer side, but knowing all these boys, they won't stop a little bit of sun getting in their way of what they want to do.
The fittest and the team who has been coached the best rises in these post-season conditions, I guess you could say. So having atoned for what would be considered, as I said, a bit of a failure in last year's final series, Houghton secured promotion to Div 6 with an inspiring finals series. They finished third. A trip to second place Para Hills, as you mentioned, they faced 122 goal kicker Daniel Weecher at the Paddocks in their qualifying final. They came away with a shock 6-point victory, 82-76, before losing to Ingle Farm, this opposition, by 86 points in the grand final qualifier. They faced Para Hills again in the prelim at neutral venue Campbelltown Oval last week, and it was a seesawing affair. Houghton busted out of the blocks to lead by 33 points at quarter time and 28 points at half time, before Para Hills charged back to level at 70-all at three-quarter time, and some thought they'd run over the top, but the Raiders then held Weecher and Para Hills goalless in the fourth quarter to win 86-71 by 15 points and book their place in today's grand final. Meanwhile, it was a much more straightforward final series for Ingle Farm. Finishing atop, of course, Judd, comes with the privileges and the rewards, with a first week off of finals to rest and recover. Ingle Farm used the home ground advantage to kick 6 goals to 2 in quarter 1 and 8 goals to 3 in quarter 2. Went into half time with a 14 goals to 5, 52-point lead against Houghton, and they carried on to maintain their margin. 86-point win, 141-55. Another week off last week, so they're fully rested ahead of today's grand final. So 2 very different seasons and opposing finals series paths, but they're here and they're ready to play, and both equally worthy of taking their place on neutral territory this afternoon. Judd, what are you most looking forward to in today's decider?
Yeah, I'd say for today's decider, what I'd be most looking forward to is just how Houghton can channel that underdog energy that they've carried for the final series and push themselves to really challenge themselves against Ingle Farm, who we know have been top, as we mentioned, and yeah, that's what I'm looking for. But also, I'm also looking for Ingle Farm for sure to just prove and show everyone why they're top, and that's sometimes what happens at finals. You sometimes look at the underdogs a little bit too much, but then the team that's been dominant all year just shows why they're in that spot, and they don't want to make the whole season go to waste. We saw in the Bees that was the case with Ingle Farm losing, but I'm sure they can even take some from that and really learn from those failings there.
So what game will we see today? Captain Daniel Tanchos and Coach Kerry Payne, and second place to Div 7 League Best and Fairest Mason Pitt lead the Ingle Farm Bulldogs, with Captain Jake Martin, Coach Chiron Lovell, and reigning 5-time Club Best and Fairest Cameron Schutz leading the Houghton District Raiders. Will get the Ingle Farm team lineup up for you, so you can fully feast your eyes upon their lineup. A very successful and experienced team. They have Terrell Rigney with 64 goals in 18 games this season, as well as a number of players with Adelaide Football League experience and Country Football League experience in South Australia. As for their opponents, well, the Houghton District lineup, we can bring that one up for you as well. Their captain, Jake Martin, 49 goals in 20 games with a wealth of Teacher Gully experience at Div 1 level for him, as well as players with experience across other Adelaide Football League, SA Country Football and Sandful experience. Jad, any players that you've identified that we should be keeping a keen eye on as the game unfolds?
Yeah, you mentioned Pitt. I think he's going to be class for them. Obviously, second in the best player for the 2023 season, as well as some of the other players for Houghton. I realised Tippett with 10 best players this year, and Harrison 9. Schultz, we mentioned 9 as well. So those ones have been their key performers. As well, just look out for some of their goal kickers, and I've liked the Vandermoor. I think there's 2 of them out there, so they're better brothers, and that's for Houghton as well. They've kicked 4 goals last week, and he'll be definitely up for more. That it would be Kyle Vandermoor, the K one. So yeah, we'll see what happens. Also, another little thing I noticed was that these teams have versed each other a few times because of how the league's set up with 8 teams. They've versed each other a lot recently, and in round 16, Houghton beat Para Hills, then they lost Ingle Farm in round 17, beat Para Hills in the first round of finals, lost Ingle Farm in the second round of finals, and in the prelim beat Para Hills. So really back and forth between those 3 teams, and they're going to be familiar. They'll probably use some of the vision thanks to Sportal and Dartfish, some of our sponsors, and really study their opponents. Even though they've versed them a few times, there's a lot of things there that they can take out of it.
Just seen Ingle Farm win the coin toss, so initial win on today's grand final. Kick to the right of screen with Captain Daniel Tanchos and the umpires in the middle once again. It's Jack Moore and Jad Gosling in commentary with you for this big game. William Law is our producer on the Filming Footy production. And wherever you may be watching from, live, exclusive and free on Filming Footy YouTube, this is the main event, the Division 7 Men's Senior Grand Final in the Adelaide Football League. No other senior grand finals on today, so it's the place to be. A cool morning has given way to what is a beautiful, sunny and warm afternoon at Price Memorial Oval at Hawthorn, home of the Mitcham Hawks, as the 2 coaches come together and the teams line up, and the crowd, as you mentioned, Jad, packed, and they're excited and expectant of what should be a fantastic grand final. Both teams lining up, and they've had their official photographs, and they've tossed the coin. Let's now go to ground level for our official opening ceremony. The national anthem on Division 7 grand final day. The umpires lining up in between our 2 squads, and of course congratulations to the umpiring crew in the field, Grantley Byrne and Michael Williamson On the boundary, Edward Milsom and Guido Porcara, and with the flags, goal umpires Chris 80 and Jason Collard. Always an achievement to be selected for a grand final, no matter if you're a player, an umpire, or anyone related with the two teams. Not much longer to wait now until our first bounce here at Price Memorial Oval in Hawthorn for this Division 7 men's grand final. Jack Moore and Jad Goslins, we welcome you inside the booth for one last time before the Ingle Farm Bulldogs break, and Houghton are already maintaining their positions. Live, free and exclusive here on Filming Footy. Let's bring you the first images of what will be a Division 7 grand final. To remember, both these sides already been successful in season 2023. They've secured promotion to Division 6. In the reserves, it was Ingle Farm just going down by a goal to Houghton. So they have already recorded a victory on grand final day. And back in the season, C5, it was Marion who defeated Ingle Farm. So Ingle Farm haven't recorded a grand final win despite being in both so far. Is that a precursor? We'll find out in a little over 2 hours from now. As the umpire checks with his umpiring crew, and I think we're in readiness. The crowd wait, and they're expectant, they're excited. This is Jad Gosson with the first moments of the 2023 Division 7 Grand Final.
Norbury and Schultz, the two ruckmen. We'll see them all day. The first bounce, a clearance straight away from Ingle Farm. They go forward into the 50. Few players there trying to run at it. Sanderson's in good position, as well as Rigney. It is a free kick going the way of Houghton very early in this Division 7 Grand Final. Kicks it inbound to Schultz. Mentioned him a few times. He's one of their key players for sure. And for a ruckman to be a key player, he's very athletic for a ruckman. You could tell that already. The ball down the line, just tapped over, and it will be a boundary throw-in right on the interchange gates of the Ingle Farm team.
All important first clearance out of the middle there from Ingle Farm. They look like they were revved up and primed. They were kept in their huddle a bit longer at the beginning of this game, and they're the only chance left for a flag for the Bulldogs today.
Yeah, that will probably be playing on their mind. Really wants to bring home the grand final that the other two, unfortunately for them, could not. But nice play here, a few handballs to space, and nice running to create that little bit of room to get the clear kick away from Buck. Just couldn't take the mark there. Was Perna Haig, but the ball bobbling around now. Tackles flying in, trying to keep the ball not from moving in. Might have dragged it in, but the umpire said he'll stop it, and there'll be bowl up here, just on the edge of the centre square, towards the Ingle Farm goals. The tap over the top now, trying to get the clearance away. Nicely tackled, and from that, Houghton can go forward in their own respects. Martin there, the captain, just could not get the mark, and follows up nicely, but does catch him high with the tackle.
So aggressive to start from Houghton. They've come to play. Gee, the pink boots, you only wear those if you think you're going to have a pretty good afternoon. So the man on the mark for Houghton. We'll keep a keen eye on him and see if he puts his mark on this game early. But just held up at half-back on the edge of the 50. Ingle Farm down the line looking for something. But, the long levers of Cameron Schutz just gets back there. Five-time club best and fairest Schutz. He kicks short, finds Anderson. Just instructs his forward group to just make a bit of space of the pocket, and they come and they all go in the same position as they run towards the footy now. And I was going to say well tackled, but a bit over egregious. And Aidan McAleer just getting a bit over the top. And a high free kick, and have our first shot on goal from about 40 out for the vice-captain, Cody Sparks.
Sparks in the best players last week, as well as 24 goals for the season, so definitely one of their key players, and he'll really want to stamp his authority early as one of the leaders of the team.
So Sparks from just about 45. This will be a bit of a crest of a wave start for the Raiders if he can just sneak it back. It was never going to get there. Across the face, the big guy got his hands to it, but he couldn't pull it down. And it just trickles teasingly out of bounds. But a dangerous spot. They'll throw it in 5 metres around. This Div 7 Grand Final was started with the umpires getting involved, setting their tone, and both teams trying to set a tone of their own. Spinning out of trouble, but getting nowhere. Taken high, perhaps. Umpire said play on. Good. Let them play. Let them sort it out for themselves. And getting over the footy there, Wade Vandermeer. And taking without it as the ball spills out, and they're tackling everything that moves at the moment. Out it comes. The umpire's going to say it was a throw as Max Speyer thought all his Christmases came at once. He was about to snap it around the body, but the relieving free kick comes, and the captain, Daniel Tantros, will take it.
Tantros now out of defence. Nicely intercepted there by Schultz. He's been busy early. Just read the play a little bit better than everyone else. Took that intercept, marks and bombs it back into the 50. Can they mark it here? He can! Dylan Mayo, with that big mark. Very, very tall player. Probably the tallest player out there. Just by the looks of it, he's quite tall, and he used that advantage there for that mark.
19 goals in his 7 games, so just under 3 goals a game for the big fella. Golden Grove and Tea Tree Gully Jr. And here he is on the biggest day of his career.
2 goals last week, and he comes in to try and get his first. Just misses to the right. So a few shots a goal early from Houghton and couldn't make the most of it with the maximum conversion. But one to keep an eye on as they progress. Hopefully they can just either straighten that out or maybe find a few marks if they can a little bit closer to the goal, because both shots were from outside 50. They play on now quickly. Ingle Farm through the middle of the ground. Houghton set up nicely behind the ball, but the Ingle Farm players now come to help. They go forward again, maybe a little bit outnumbered in the forward line. Nicely taken there. Nicely marked by Brandon Rigney, who spins around and plays on quickly into the box, shoots, and just to the left. So from one kick into another, and it will be a behind going the way of Ingle Farm. 1 behind each. 5.5 minutes played in the first quarter.
That ball was just coming back. If the goals are about 5 metres deeper, I think it might have snuck in. Raiders bring it out, though. They're looking for the first goal. It's been a little bit inaccurate in front of goals and the big sticks in the early moments. 5.5. He put the hand out of the don't argue, and the umpire's spot on there, holding the ball every day of the week. Jack Delchow thought he could get away with one, but the umpire starting well. Michael Williamson out there as his counterpart, Grantley Byrne, pays the mark, and the man on the mark is exactly where he needs to be. Play on. Kick going inside, about 20 out from goal, but you've got to start in front if you want to be a leading option, and well cut off by Buck, the one club player for the Doggies. Congratulations, of course, to Kerry Payne and Kyron Lovell, the 2 opposition coaches, leading their squads to a grand final in 2023. Chest mark, he was the only one after it, but it bounced off his chest and umpire hovering, nothing doing. So ball up where the arc meets the boundary on the outer side.
Despite missing that mark, they've had a few opportunities there to intercept it. They're set up nicely behind the ball, Houghton, and any quick kicks away from Ingle Farm, they've been doing well to intercept it. Here's another one now, and again intercepted. So just set up nicely and reading the play well, not letting him out of their own defence easily. And those repeat inside 50s, we know they're very important in modern football, and that's what they've done so far. Houghton just into the 50 again with that penetrating kick, but to no one in particular. They just bomb it out, and it's going back where it came from. Couldn't take the mark this time, and the bounce favours Ingle Farm. Through Devon Payne now. Nicely kicked, finding that little bit of room. Perna Haag now to the 50. Over the top, marks it, plays on, and goal! The first goal of the game, going the way of Ingle Farm from Brandon Rigney. They finally beat that press from the back half and just found that room and uncontested marks along the wing, which are important, and that the kick over the top finds the first goal of the game.
That was all brought about by their second leading goal kicker for the season, Bradley Sanderson, the big guy with the long sleeves. If you wasn't too sure who he was, came all the way up to about centre wing to just collect that half volley, lay it off, and the kick went inside 50, found Brandon Rigney, and it was all because Sanderson, his big presence, he drew the defender up the ground, left space in behind for Rigney, who's kicked 30 goals in 11 games this season. To at the first, as you said, Judd, they beat the press over the top. It's the selfless play from a guy in Sanderson who's kicked 237 goals in his 118 games for the Farmers. So you just need those 1%ers of players who won't be shy to be unselfish. Out of the middle again, and the umpire's found a free kick. It's a bit of a hold, and the Farmers will have another chance to move it inside 50. We'll take a long kick. The wind is pretty much not a factor in the early stages. Sanchos, the captain, started well out in front. Good body on body. Here's the big man, Sanderson. He's playing a different role, perhaps, up the ground as he shifts back towards the inside 50. Meanwhile, Bo on the wing, and the tackle comes in. Tippett. Ingle Farm player was over it. Comes out the back, finds Buck. Little short one, little one. Wasn't 15. Round the body, it could be a second. Just skinny side as the snap came in from Terrell Rigney. And if you hear us say the name Rigney a lot, then you won't be mistaken. We haven't confused players. There are 4 Rigneys out there. Shaden in the 12, Tyson in the 15, Terrell in the 11, and Brandon in the 54. So definitely a family affair for the Farmers this afternoon in terms of the Rigney clan. Could have had their second goal on the board as it's levelled up at centre half wing. The big man, Dylan Mayle, bit of a mismatch if they can get it to that McAleer and Mayle match up, if they can get a clearance from stoppage. Bursting over it. Did he dive on it? The ball's certainly underneath him. Umpire hovering. Decided it bounced down and came back in, and a strong tackle over the top. Careful not to get in the back from Buck. Both teams have started well. A few missed kicks going forward of centre, but you're going to get that. Nerves high. Clearance from Payne. Inside 50 it goes. Sanderson started nicely. Bit of candy. Turns back the other way. Puts the blinkers on and sets sail towards goal. 2 on the board for the Farmers. Bang! It's the Rigney recipe. Terrell Rigney, 64 from 18 games. Gee, you put the Dirty Dancing, bit of a footloose display on there. Set sail. The goal umpire almost broke his neck watching it go over the top of his cap. And the Farmers on the board with a couple of settlers. And it's been Brandon Rigney and Terrell Rigney. The Rigney show early for Ingle Farm.
Yeah, well called, and he did well to show everyone onto his left when he really wanted to kick from his right the whole time, and knew how to find the goals. You said their top goal scorer is 64 goals. And
third place in the Div 7 league, best and fairest too, Terrell Rigney with his 64 goals in 18 games.
So they've got 2 and 3 out there is Ingle Farm. Probably shows just how well-rounded their team is, and a lot of high performers in this league. But they'll go forward again now. The kick not the best, bouncing a few times before finding anyone. The Houghton player does well just to be the stronger a little bit in that situation and get it out of there. Running through the middle is Schultz. Over the top to McMartin. Into the 50 now. Can anyone mark it? Punch. The defender punched it when he probably could have taken an easy mark. So the ball's still alive deep in their forward line for Houghton. It's not getting out there though, and it's going to be wrapped up. A stoppage about 25 metres away from Houghton's goals. They're going to want some movement here in the stoppage, finding any room for a kick at goal if they can, or a mark if they go a little bit sideways. Nicely smothered from Houghton. Keep the ball there. The umpire keeps it and eventually just says he'll sort it out. He'll throw it up.
Umpire just teasing us there, wasn't he? He kind of stopped, propped, and ended up calling for the ball up. But
yeah, he definitely thought about it.
Call a free kick there.
Definitely thought about it, and then decided just to have it all even. But they clear it now. Going the way of Evans, marking it again. Just intercept marking it.
Yeah, well called.
Getting the 25.
It's one you might see more in the AFL, but he came in from the side. You can do that in the Adelaide Footy League, but he ran in about a metre forward of where the player marked the footy. So umpire Michael Williamson on the spot to begin this Div 7 grand final and correctly awarding a 25-metre penalty.
Evans now with the kick at goal. It's coming, won't make the distance, and touched over the line. So another behind going the way of Houghton. Still searching for their first goal. We'll see if all their shots have been from about 50 metres out, so it'll be interesting to see if that continues, if it's a bit of a pattern, but that's probably some of the reasons they haven't quite got the score yet. And now he just soccer kicks it forward, finding a player with so much room, Perna Haig, and does a nice kick, unselfishly just finds his teammate in Terrell Rigney. Already has a goal and now has a mark to have another shot. He's about 40 metres out, right on the boundary line, however.
So much experience for Rigney. He's played at Ardrossan, Williston, had a stint at the North Adelaide Reserves as well, and Salisbury West back in the day, and gee, if he can slot it from here, it would be a beautiful start for the Farmers.
Coming in now, looks confident. Big kick, but the umpire runs quite a way away, and it is another behind. So 2-3 plays 0 goals 2 in this first quarter. 13, nearly 14 minutes played. They're going to kick it back in now. Let's see what they can do, because they chip it around, and I suspected he looked a bit nervous. Terrell Rigney now on the left, and he kicks it there. He was the one that missed to cause the kick in, and he followed it up, got a second chance, and it did well to intercept the kick in. He was looking left and right, didn't really know where to go, and in the end just passed it to the opposition, and probably one of the most dangerous players on the ground, which was not very good on his behalf, and does get another goal going the way of Ingle Farm.
On the Dartfish replay there, you could see if you're going to take on that little direct down the ground kick from the kicky, and you don't want to put it anywhere near an opposition player, let alone one with the forward instincts that Terrell Rigney clearly possesses. He collected it and still had a bit of work left to do. Took about a 5-metre run and still snapped it across his body. So 2 in the first quarter for Terrell Rigney. And as I mentioned, Ingle Farm unsuccessful in the earlier 2 games today, or they've come out of the blocks nicely. Houghton arguably started the better of the 2 sides in the opening few minutes, but as soon as they've got it forward of centre, it's been good night in terms of a result in front of goal. That's going to be a block and go the way of Ingle Farm. Out of the middle, as the 2 ruckmen are slow to get up, and umpire makes me eat my words, it'll be a free kick going the way of the Raiders. Bit of ruck lotto. Should use the short option, he does. Smartly done, and the kick going inside 50 all the way through, but it was touched on the way. Either way, not too sure what Evans saw. If you're going to kick it into the teeth of goals, you want to have an option on, or perhaps just kick it about 20 metres short of goal. So 3-3-21, 3 behinds, lead of 18 points on the Sportal scoreboard. Filming footy live and exclusive, and free call of the Division 7 Grand Final here from Mitcham Hawks. Price Memorial Oval, nice bodywork. Corey McMartin, one of the vice captains. Get my teams mixed up. That was Shaden Rigney. Excuse me. He's back into trouble now as Pitt. Oh, he just ducked and weaved a bit. He can do that. Second in the Div 7 league, best and fairest, Mason Pitt. So keep a keen eye for the number 1 in white and green. Inside 50, nobody in particular. Reading it nicely. Back of the pack, Woodcock. He lays to Shepherd. Babiak is on it. And the clearing kick to the outer wing. And it's going to come straight back over his head. If Pitt gets a kind bounce, he does. But he's bumped over the line. But it was high. And they're just having a chat. And they're just trying to sort out exactly who's on who. Umpire, the presence to get right in there. Paid the free kick. We saw Pitt bumped. And not sure we're going to get a Dartfish replay on that one. But it was a risky move. But they had to hold him up. Otherwise, if he collected the ball and he went inside 50, it was going to be about a 2 or 3 on 1 to Ingle Farm, Judd.
Yeah, it's not good to see someone get hurt. He's still holding his head, so hopefully he's okay and can take part in the rest of the match. But you see him in the background there as one of his teammates will take the free kick for him.
Very important player, Pitt, just mentioned obviously. Second in the Div 7 league, best and fairest, and named in the best 9 of his 18 games. He'll get the attention he needs from the medical staff as it's kicked inside 50 for the Dogs. Mosquito Fleet go to work, and they're playing a bit of Russian roulette down there, the Raiders. Goodness, they're struggling to hold up when it goes inside 50 in these early stages. 17.5 gone. We're about to tick into time on. And how much the Raiders need to go? Well, in equal measure, they need to keep the Dogs out. Snap's not going to come back. It's going to be marked on the last line. Went towards goal from Cody Catchpole. Come across from Paraka. Did Catchpole. So we play on. They've taken their destiny into their own hands there. Run into a brick wall and hold on the ball. It's going to go right back over their heads. Ingle Farm right on top as they look to reload and enter inside 50 once again.
They just chip it around and find someone in a better position, but no mark taken. Terrell Rigney now from the boundary line. Just plays it into a bit of a dangerous position, but along the floor. So he must trust the little guys. And here it is with the snap. And he does find the goal. Bradley Sanderson nicely crumbed, picked it up cleanly off the ground and just knew exactly where the goals is and didn't even think about it too much. Probably didn't even look up to the goals and just snapped it round. Nicely done and finds the fourth. It seemed like Terrell Rigney there just knew what his forwards were capable of. Didn't hit it up in the air. Just found the ball that goes along the floor was better in that position.
We did mention the ladder at the end of the regular season. These two teams were separated by 6 wins. It was a mismatch on paper. In the first quarter, it's turning out to be a mismatch on grass, unfortunately, if you're a Houghton Raiders supporter. But plenty of time to turn this around. We see plenty of games where sides kick out to early leads and the opposition comes storming back. So Raiders definitely with a lot to do early. 4-3-27, 3 behind. 4-goal break. One thing Raiders have done beautifully in this first quarter is win some centre clearances, but they haven't been able to identify or find anyone inside 50.
Yeah, that's all right. And basically, the Raiders, they have had a few moments and they've had a few shots on goal. They just didn't make the most of them yet. If they can just get some more of that and put some scoreboard pressure on, there's still a long way to go, obviously, in this match. And we'll bring you it all here on Filming Footy YouTube channel.
Indeed. So mark over the back. Yeah, they wanted a mark in front. He might have turned it over. That's a bit silly. That's going to give the Raiders a bit of momentum. And that might be a coach. Gee, I thought the umpire had blown his whistle for a reversal there, but
other way too.
I think he was just waving the player out the way. So he's definitely fooled me. You can tell we're massively engaged. And the crowd are too. They thought it might have been a Houghton free kick, and some of the players might have too. They pushed numbers up to support it. They might be caught out over the back, but the numbers have gotten back right on time. Free kick about 60 out. And the Raiders fans can take a couple of deep breaths. They desperately need a goal just to get themselves on the board and just to calm a few nerves. Taps forwards. Norbury got his hand up to tap it. Everything's under pressure. And that's a beautiful tackle. Coming in from the side. I think it was Brooke in the 28 laying that tackle from a Raiders distinction there. 40-year anniversary for Houghton. Gee, the break out of the middle's nice. He took it before the others could blink. Delch how it was, and all of a sudden, into the teeth of goal. Their main man down there trying to bring it back from an impossible angle, Sanderson. Yeah, that would have probably put Ingle Farm up, but would have by 5 goals. The score ticked along. We've entered time on. 21 played. 4-4-28. Houghton. They'd sell the farm for a goal at the moment. 3 behinds. Lead of 25 points. And, well, District need quarter time more than Ingle Farm at the moment. Their inside 50 forward pack are definitely in sync.
The kick comes out long now, trying to take the mark over the top. The Ingle Farm players, though, do well to just keep the ball moving and make it dangerous. They get the kick away now. Good pressure there to force the turnover. Over the top is the mark. Just not taken. Play on. A few players now just trying to find a little bit of room for the kick forward. Nice composure, though, not to just blast away, but did not find his teammate on that occasion there. Going to get out of a little bit of trouble here. Oh, taken high and spun around. He still has him high, which is a...
I might call 25 for the after effect.
Yeah.
Just having a chat to the man of the Marcus.
Oh, there's the 25 now.
Must have said something, I think. Because
Yeah.
I think he was initially just going to let him get away with it. And they might have had a few words. But, you know, the umpiring in this first quarter has been good. Paid some clear free kicks, but really asserted their dominance and make sure these players know they won't be able to get away with anything in this grand final.
Yeah, that's right. He was lenient with him, with not giving the 25 initially, and then some of the back chat just caused that leniency to run out and gave away that 25 after a pretty obvious high free kick. And there's another one now going the way of the Raiders. About 60 metres out from their goal, so going to need another kick to find a scoring opportunity. Chips it up towards the captain there. No mark taken. It's to play on now. They got numbers behind the ball here, and they're just gone backwards to go forward. Goes towards the pocket, but nicely read and punched over by the defender there in number 19, Sander Koch.
Whether it's a ploy or by accident, Houghton District inside 50 have been atrocious so far. They've either kicked on top of their heads, haven't put the ball into any space, and they've really set their forwards up for failure. So really an area they need to address at quarter time. If you're not going to find a chest or put it into a leading avenue or an area, at least kick it over the back and give your small forward something to run onto. As I say that, it comes out, but playing in front, Ingle Farm's defending pack have been good. Handball, this could be a snap-on goal if they can just clear it from this congestion. They can't. Taken down, got the handball out last second. Met high in the initial battle for the ball, and the umpire out of zone has a better view on that, as we did here in the filming footy bunker. Sees the correct free kick, and credit to Wade Vandermeer putting his head over the footy and winning a crucial free kick. Hands it off. Umpire's not going to allow it. Dearie me, that ball's going to sail through for all his touch on the line.
We'll be happy to replay that one.
I want to thank the umpire for that one.
Yeah.
And we're going to have a go at him until the ball just fell short, as it did last night. We saw the Clayton Oliver kick from the boundary. His own player, Max Gorn, touched it over the line. So he's going to back himself in here, Vandermeer. He's going to launch it all the way and give it everything he's got. But it's just across to the near side. Just peppering the goals and just locking it inside 50. A good start. They're going to make any ground in this lead. Ingle Farm, for their dominance, only have a 4-goal lead. It's not insurmountable by any means. Houghton have proved this year they can put massive quarters together. Good body work. The captain, Tanchos, he's leading from the front. And that kick's going to find a leading man. They're playing this area of the game a lot better than Houghton at the moment. Identifying leading targets and over the back. Gee, whose assignment was him? He's let Terrell Rigney run free. And here he comes! The double trailer with sleeves on. Ingle Farm kicking it to their forwards' advantage. Stuff they teach you in under 14s footy. Houghton District's just a metre or two off their men inside the forward half and making him pay every time from end to end. Sanderson! What a start. He's got 2. Terrell Rigney has 2. And this is a dream quarter as we tick over 25 and a half. Ingle Farm out to a 5-goal break in the grand final.
You mentioned it a bit, but yeah, they're definitely playing the wings a lot better, Ingle Farm, in this quarter. And to start off this match, they're just taking those marks in space on the wing, which is crucial to the way they play and leaves them with a lot of opportunity to go forward in dangerous areas and finding those marks, especially on just looking at the players physically. I feel like Houghton almost are a little bit bigger, but they're just playing in terms of size, tool-wise, but just playing the aerial game more and finding those kicks to their own advantage and helping each other out with the running, which sometimes the Raiders just need to be a bit better in that around the ground and to get back into this match. But back in the middle now. The Ruckmans again go at it. Trying to find a clearance here. Does well is Wayne Vandermeer into the 50.
Started well, Vandermeer.
Going towards his player now, just centering it. Looking for a big mark. Mayall's there, does well to collect the mark after not marking it. Snaps at goal, but missing.
Now he's put it through, yes!
Didn't look like a goal from this angle,
They're
but
on the board.
I should know from the celebrations from all the crowd, they're loving it. And yeah, the first goal of the quarter, apologies for that one. From my angle, it looked like it almost missed everything, but the umpire was obviously in a better position than I am, and he saw it go straight through. The first goal of the game, going the way of Mayall there, and did well. He's probably one of the tallest players on the field, and he did well to pick up the ball off the ground and snap it. Like
a small forward, nimble, and collected it nicely. He crushed the pack, didn't he? He left a few victims in wake, but it was his responsibility from there to put the goal through, and that could be the fire starter and the jump starter that these Raiders needed, because they've been pretty level in terms of clearance and getting their hands on the footy. They just needed a bit of a spark, and with 27 and a half gone, if they can add another before quarter time, it would close the gap to what is a manageable one. Clearance out of the middle and just getting run on the footy, but he's got support back there, just arriving a little bit late with Lockie Anderson and taken off him, and he loved it as soon as it hit his boots. How's that work? And just over commitment, Shaden Rigney with the initial one. He laid the shepherd for Pernahaig, got it in the hands of the gun goal sneak. And just as we thought, Houghton Districts had a sniff. Ingle Farm take it untouched by the Raiders out of the middle and slot through their 6th goal of this opening quarter to, reignite the red lights on the district's coaching bench.
Yeah, they'll be happy with that one. As soon as the jar was slightly open a little bit for Raiders to get a little bit back into this one, they just slammed it shut and really putting their mark on this game, saying, no, we want to control it. And with not that much time left in this quarter, was a big goal to just stay their claim and put that scoreboard of pressure that was needed.
Here we go.
Go
Clearance
forward,
inside 50. It's all yours, Jad, as it goes towards the back.
May was there again, but couldn't collect it. Cleared away by Ingle Farm, but not for long. Big tackle and just trying to get the ball back into the 50. They do well. Keeps it alive. Pambles it to himself along the floor. Is tackled a little bit without the ball, but play on, says the ump. And as the ball races towards the boundary line, it will be a throw in now inside the 50 of Raiders. I want to make the most of this one.
Love that umpiring there as well. Just letting them play. They had possession. They weren't. The tackles came in and they might have been a millisecond late, but the player did have possession of the ball. Tried to kick it along the ground to himself. Babiak just trying to create a bit of a spark, and that's what they need inside this forward 50 group. Bit of a spark.
Over the top now. No one touches it from the ruckman, but they quickly clear it. And they do get a free kick here for a bit of an illegal shepherd from that marking situation. So another inside 50 now. The kick not the best, and only going as far as one of the Ingle Farm wingers who ran back to assist. They'll be upset with that one as they had an opportunity there with a free kick, but they did mark it here.
Real important mark from Schutz going back. If he didn't mark that, it was about 3-on-1.
Good spot, yeah, off the ball. Nicely taken. And the siren goes just before any other damage could be done to the scoreboard either way, and that'll be the end of the first quarter here. 6-4, 40 plays 1-4-10, going the way of Ingle Farm, winning this quarter so far by 30 points.
A rampaging start for the Raiders. Just what the doctor ordered in that first quarter. The first few minutes, they were on top. They had plenty of inside 50s, but we saw Ingle Farm get it out the back a couple of times, couple of early goals, and then a couple of clearances, and they took it untouched end-to-end for that last goal. And they go in with a thoroughly deserved 5-goal break at quarter time. We're here, of course, filming footy live, free and exclusive, thanks to Dartfish and Sportle. Jack Moore and Jad Gosling will be back with you for the second quarter right after this from Price Memorial Oval on this beautiful Saturday afternoon Div 7 Grand Final action.
Folks, we're down here at the Banner Crew. Our friend, supporter and sponsor of Between the Posts has joined us. Welcome, Jason Goods.
Thanks, Tony. Nice to be with you.
What can the people out there expect to buy from the Banner Crew and get looked after?
Pretty much anything that you can put your club logo on or a message from the club, whether it be, like you mentioned, a marquee or a flag or an A-frame or a banner, a stubby holder, a pen, anything like that, anything that you can pop the club branding on. Everything's customisable. So basically we've got an in-house design department with 2 graphic designers that can work toward getting the message across that you're after.
We're down here at 318 to 326 St Vincent Street, Port Adelaide. Jason, thank you so much for your support.
Ingle Farm 6-4, 40, a 5-goal buffer at quarter time over the Houghton District Raiders, 1-4-10. pretty good start from the Raiders in that opening term. Couple of clearances, and they had it inside 50 a lot, but when they got it down there, they could not use it, could not find their forwards, kicked it on their heads, and as you were mentioning as we talked off there, Jad, their forward six didn't really offer a lot, didn't come at the play with the ball, something no doubt Kyron Lovell in the huddle at quarter time will look to address.
Yeah, for sure. I noticed the huddle was broken up into how you see it more and more in footy. They're broken up by defence, midfield and forward. I'm sure the forward group would have been saying to just a bit more movement in the forward line, making those runs for the midfielders, and also the midfield group just wanting them to really make the kicks a little bit more targeted to the dangerous areas.
This is Jack Moore and Jad Gosson in the Filming Footy bunker trailer here in beautiful shade. Lucky for us, because it is a warm afternoon, top of 24 here at Price Memorial Oval on the Adelaide forecast, as the players break up and we send it back out to the ground for what is promising to be a beautiful, a real challenge. Lay down to the feet of Houghton in their 40th year, their last grand final victory in 1999. So looking to break what would be a close to 25-year drought for a flag, and they did that, I guess, if you can count a reserves premiership in the game prior to this. They took the Chocolates with a 6-point win, but it's a lot of work to do if they are to be successful in this one. So Ingle Farm, as we wait for a few spectators, the ground is chockers, as you mentioned before the game, Jad. They've packed in 2 sets of fans. They've had to travel across town, a good half-hour drive to be here, but they have come with their colours on, and they are supporting their teams in equal measure. We're lucky enough to have a bit of a Houghton contingent in front of us, so if they get a run on, you'll be sure to know about it on the Filming Footy call. Live, free and exclusive. Second quarter action, Div 7 grand final. This is Jad Gosson.
The players now, again, in the centre, just trying to get a first clearance to the quarter. It goes the way of the Raiders. They'll be happy with that one. Can they find a mark? Big mark over the top by Mayo. He's been dangerous in the air and on the ground. We saw him kick that goal with a bit of a snap on that occasion. Beautifully taken, just eyes on the prize, and he has that physical advantage in that situation. Really nicely taken.
Not sure how new or relevant this is to the game, but both the key forwards of both teams have matching leg tats on one leg. So there you go.
We'll have a look at that one.
Here's Mayo.
Get lots of kicks to the ball. That one just going wide. Couldn't make the most of that one. Really probably should have finished off all his good work with that big mark, but it is a behind going early to the Raiders. It's a good sign, though. They did get that shot super early and got the clearance from the middle. They'll want more of that to get back into this game.
We saw on the Dartfish replay screen as well moments ago, Mayo leading up at the footy. So it's one thing they have definitely talked about in that quarter-time huddle. They want their forwards coming up at the play with the ball, demanding the footy. And Mayo did the first bit right. We see an injured player coming from the ground here for Ingle Farm. He's grasping his wrist and looks in real trouble. So we'll keep an eye on that for you. And he's replaced. Meanwhile, kick inside 50. Vandermeer's been arguably their best. He finds a mark on tight against the boundary. It's his brother in Kai Vandermeer. So a Vandermeer combination. This will be a much needed tonic. The first goal of this second quarter. Tough angle. Holds the ball like he's going to spin it back. Umpire absolutely loves it. The Vandermeer connection for the Raiders. Last time they kicked a goal, Ingle Farm went out of the middle and the Raiders didn't touch it and they'd cancelled the goal out straight away. So this time, back in the middle, they'll be looking to add back-to-back goals. Goal to Kai Vandermeer. Districts closing that gap to 23 points. 2 minutes played, second quarter.
Beautifully taken there. He marked it and went back. Didn't even waste too much time. Held the ball how he wanted. Was very confident. He knew the technique and knew exactly what he wanted to do. And it proved to be right. Beautifully taken goal as we go back to the middle now.
A player who's been named in the best 5 times in his 9 games. So hasn't played much of the season, but when he's played, he's been a real impact player.
Yeah, good for them to have him in this big final, grand final, and will be very handy going forward with that chemistry with his brother. And they get another clearance out of the midfield.
It's nice.
A few handballs, so they do get the kick eventually forward and towards the 50, but just a bit of a rush kick, really. No one in particular was the target there, and intercepted nicely by Buck.
We mentioned in the pre-game, Houghton Districts have a bit of a habit of putting big quarters together against Para Hills in the prelim final. We'll get back to that. It goes inside 50 for the the Dogs, and he's trying to just bust his way through.
Pitt there with the challenge and being tackled a little bit high, but the umpire said they'll wrap it up. Good to see Pitt out there, of course, had a bit of a, was holding his head earlier after a collision and couldn't take the free kick from that, but he's out there again, one of their most important players, and we'd like to see the best players on show in a big grand final. Couldn't make the most of that stoppage inside their 50, so coming out of there, but they do get the free kick, going the way of their captain, Tanskos. They go into the 50 now quickly, knew what he wanted and finds
Elite.
another big mark there from who else but Terrell Rigney. Already has two, look very dangerous and shows that he can definitely have an impact also in the air with that beautiful mark.
As we might see in the Dartfish replay, as soon as his player picked the ball up when it was about 60 out on the cusp and the edge of that goal square, he was off. Rigney saw it. He knew his player would know exactly where he was. He would lead towards the footy. He'd be honoured. A lot of work to do still with the contested mark, but he went up and got it. Signs of a really in-sync forward six.
Has a shot now, but just wide, so couldn't make the most of that nice mark. We do see it happens a lot, actually. When you do take a nice mark, you can't always finish off the goal, but it was, interesting when the captain had the ball. He didn't even look left or look anywhere else except for in the path of Terrell Rigney, and even though he's not the tallest player, he knew that he could take the mark, and he proved him right.
Just getting back to that fact about Houghton Districts and their habit of runs of goals against Para Hills in the prelim. Oh, hold that thought.
Through the middle now coming is Sanderson looking for his third. Just wide again, so the same way going.
Para Hills really don't want me to get that information out of the people, do they? But I'll get it in now. They kicked 6 goals to 1 against Para Hills in the first quarter of last week's prelim. And they kicked so 41 points to 8 in the first quarter. So they do have big quarters in them. And for their travelling contingent, gee, loose hips. And a nice run. He's run on to collect it, and he's taken down. Ball spilled out. Umpire set play on. Nice, like it. Just trying to bite off a little bit too much, but it's good intent from the Raiders. Only goal of this quarter. Gee, Sanderson there with the intercept mark. He should have made them pay moments ago. Coming middle of the ground in the centre circle. Nothing on short. Couple of options long. Short option was Martin, who points now to go a bit longer than him. So he does. Over the top, they've left him out the back and just getting back to provide a contest. Neither player touched it as it runs over the back and just spinning around Lazy Susan style. But the boundary umpire right there. And we'll have a throw in as he tiptoed the light. Fantastic. But the boundary line just ran out. Otherwise, Houghton were off down the field, and a couple of players just swapping their phone numbers at half forward as well. Just trying to add a bit of physicality into it. Houghton, they're a club known for their fast footy. A lot of players with some intent, and an umpire just keeping a keen eye on a contest on the outer wing with a few players just getting in their faces as well. So both clubs here to play. No doubt about that. Stripped and taken was Del Chow, and he looked to have the arm up in a fending motion, Dusty style. Didn't get a kick or handball. Umpire said holding the ball. Love the call. Middle of the ground, but Ingle Farmer there. The big man collects. He looks to backtrack. Not sure I'd try that too many times. So the kick was a bit short. It'll work out. Here's Harris. Handball on. String of handballs. Pitt. He's back on the ground. Taken afterwards. It might bounce through. It doesn't. So it'll come straight back. And it's on at half forward. Umpire right on the spot to make sure it doesn't burst a light. And we don't see our first little bushfire of the grand final. But it was a handball chain, and again, that sink inside 50. Mason Pitt on the end of it. Oh, 25 metres. Not sure what it's for. Could be a bit of back chat. Houghton, their own worst enemy here. Should be a pretty regulation kick for Mason Pitt. Second in the Div 7, best and fairest. Saw him off the ground in the first quarter, Jad. A bit of a head knock. He's been looked after by the medical staff. Sent back out. Fit to play. Wits about him. Right place, right time. Sticks it through. Big goal. And they get stuck into each other. And Mason Pitt goes in and says, look at the scoreboard. How about that from Pitt? No need for a pit stop. But Pitt does put the full stop on what was a massive and keen start to the quarter from Houghton Districts, as we see, a couple of heads start to drop. Still plenty of time. 8 minutes gone. That makes the margin back out to what it was at quarter time. 7-6, 48, 2-5, 15. 31-point lead. 8.5 minutes gone. Div 7 grand final right here on Filming Footy. Jack Moore and Jad Gosson.
Big goal from Pitt there. We've seen him involved in a few of those physical moments. Bit of a head knock early and then a big tackle that he wanted the free kick for. And on that occasion, used his physicality well to get the free kick in the 25. Going forward again is Ingle Farm. Nicely tackled there. Ran him down and cleanly done to dispose of him. So gets rewarded with the free kick. Into the 50 now. Nice lead. Just couldn't take the mark. He does take the mark. Juggles it a little bit and is beautifully taken there by Perna Haig. Already has one goal and is now lining up for his second. About 35, 40 metres out. Not too bad of an angle. Bit of an angle, but not too bad. And nicely taken mark with that juggling action, and was confident all the way to the floor that he'll take it, and he did. So he'll have a shot now. Coming in and just wide. Couldn't make a pay with that goal, and it will be a behind, but really peppering the scoreboard is Ingle Farm. 7-7, 49 for them so far. Which plays 2-5 gone the way of the Raiders. They go long now with that kick in. Probably the better option. When we saw them chip it a few times, that didn't work. But it is another holding the ball, and this time going the way of the Raiders. Nice tackle and well rewarded by Cody Sparks.
Took him on,
captains.
Threw it out. Umpiring's been pretty good.
Yeah, been pretty good umpiring now in the grand final. Grand final levering umpiring. It'll be another stoppage now. This time a throw just on the wing. Nearly a half forward for Raiders.
Just that margin now, isn't it, Jad? Where another goal for Ingle Farm, and it's becoming really pressing. Houghton really do need the next one.
Yeah, they definitely need the next one and just get their confidence back, the scoreboard pressure back, because we saw when they did get a goal earlier, it was returned very quickly. They're into the 50 now, but the ball bouncing. Can they pick it up and shoot? But he just infringed the player on the way through. It looks like it's another 25 as well. He didn't give it back fast enough, says the umpire. So it will be Pitt now with the kick in, or the Pitt will get the kick. Chips it nicely by himself in the middle of the ground. Lots of room.
Poor. Very poor.
And into the 50 now, but no one in particular, and just blasted back out immediately. And again, just intercept marked. So the kicks from Raiders not really finding where they want to go. That was Sandercock with the interception. Now back inside the 50, over the top. Couldn't get that little bit of space to run on and have a shot at goal, so it'll be a boundary throw-in.
Yeah, the defensive setup for the Raiders all over the place, really. Yeah. When Ingle Farm have the ball, they've just got free options everywhere, or players 5 metres clear of their man if they're playing a zone defence, which it does look like, instead of a man-to-man. They're just getting it wrong at the moment.
The shot now with the snap around the corner. Can it find a goal? Not quite, and done well to really put the pressure on, but it will be a last touch rule, I think, go on the way of the Raiders, just to relieve a little bit of pressure. But still, this kick has been dangerous for them all game, so they'll want to be clean with it and really find a way out of this situation without turning it over. Just this very short chip kick early on, still deep inside their own 50. Looking for a mark maybe a bit deeper down the field, or just no real option, so just bombs it long towards the wing. Bounces well and should be able to get rid of it here. Is the Raiders. They do through Martin. Going forward now, but the punch from Ingle Farm nicely set up behind the ball and also in front of the ball to get that little bit of room to get the ball forward. Into the 50 once again, nearly taken one hand. Now it's the small forwards going to work. A little bit of Harlem Globetrotters with that punch, trying to find a little room, but they cannot. And it is a free kick now, going the way of Raiders. So again, the pressure lifted thanks to a free kick.
If you're going to play that zone style of defence, it really has to be heavily communicative, and the players have got to be on the same page and communicate during the ground. And those long switch kicks, they're not going to bring you much success. Kick was touched. Umpires marked it all. The umpire in control did call it touch. The opposition umpire didn't hear it. So it's going to be a ball up. It should be a ball up where the umpire is, and the players will soon understand that. Bit of miscommunication there, but
Yeah, I think that's fair.
it's particularly loud. The crowd are in full voice, so you can kind of forgive them for that miscommunication. Taken out at ground level, repeat stoppage. At this level in Div 7 footy, the players, of course, the fitness levels aren't as high as Divs above them, so when they commit to an offensive attack, they're going to commit in numbers if they get it wrong and turn it over. That's what we're seeing so far, those loose players out the back everywhere.
Yep.
Where Houghton are really trying to push the envelope and get their players forward of centre. But they're making pretty elementary mistakes. And when they do, they're just not fit enough or defensively minded enough to get back in time, as he's almost had his head ripped off, didn't he?
Oh, yeah, that was a big collision there.
Look up coat hanger in the dictionary and you'll find this free kick, and he's staying down. So let's just hope that he's okay. He's slowly getting back to his feet. Not sure if we've got the Dartfish replay on that, but if you're watching on the stream, just click back a couple of 15-second increments and you'll see charging through once again Terrell Rigney. And, well, it's got to be said, lazy tackling from Houghton. Stuck the arm out and was always going to take him high. So Rigney lining up for his third. If there's not already distance on the scoreboard between the two sides, this will put quite a gulf in between them. From 30 out, directly in front. Rigney loves it. The Farmers love it. The Dogs crowd have travelled out in an expectant mood to capture a grand final, and they might be on their way. And the chanting has started early, halfway through the second quarter with plenty of the game left to play. The Ingle Farm supporters think they've called it. Think they've got it won. And if you look at the scoreboard, well, you wouldn't blame them at the moment. 8-7 Ingle Farm, 55. Houghton 2-5-17. They definitely need to change something and change it very, very quickly.
All the play being in Ingle Farm's 50, except for that one goal coming the way of the Raiders. But, yeah, really been another dominant quarter, and they're just getting the ball in more dangerous positions and not letting their opponent breathe to get any sort of room to do any sort of attack of their own.
When it's in tight, the tackles have been good from Houghton. They've brought the pressure as soon as it's gone to the outside. It seems like Ingle Farm have an extra couple of numbers around the ground. But as I said, plenty of time.
Yeah.
This one is going to script, unfortunately, if you're a Houghton fan so far. Ingle Farm with a pretty dominant season. And we mentioned the pre-game, Houghton coming from third position. 6 wins worse off in the regular season than Ingle Farm. So it was the Farmers who had all the pressure on them. Houghton, nothing to lose coming into this grand final, but Ingle Farm have played like the rightful premiers so far. Plenty of work left to do. Short little 15-metre kick. It just fell short of that distance. And coming through to meet at the sink. They're on display. It was almost through. He was bumped off it. Houghton get back in numbers. Watch out. Coming to get you. They've got support and they can run and go. They'll keep it narrow and just over the head of the captain of Ingle Farm, Tanjos, and it was Corey McMartin, the vice-captain, took the mark, been pushed wide, just near the coach's bench. Daniel Bryant, 20 goals in his 17 games. He's a long way out from goal here. Couple of kicks towards the big sticks. They go for it and they collapse in a heap. Run into the pack, it's come out the back, and this might be a goal they desperately need, but it was under pressure, the snap. Just clears the goal umpire, made the goal umpire do a bit of a dance. And the singular flag, not what the doctor ordered for districts. 8-7-55. Houghton 2-6-18, 17 and a half gone. Couple of goals before half-time for the Raiders. And it's game on. That might be 25 metres. That's sloppy in a grand final. Run straight through the mark. Mason Pitt, real smart to drag his teammate through. That was Trent Harrison, who just got caught. And it gave away 25, and it just gave a little bit of confidence to the forward pack. Jai Martin Had his name written all over it. Here he is. He'll line up from about 50 out. Pretty much directly in front. Farmers dominant. Bit of a journeyman. Jai Martin, Ardrossan, Aldinga, Salisbury North, Kilburn, Paraka, Ingle Farm, and he's kicked that one as high as he had to get it long, just to get the distance. You can see how far his leg went up. Almost dislocated his groin on the kick. And he's pushed it across, so they're wasting a few opportunities. 8-8, 56. A lead of 38 points. Houghton have a job to do.
Big mark over the top is Mayo, pushed up from that full forward position to help out. Bit deeper down the ground, help the ball get forward, and it does well to take the mark in an important position, important time of the game for them. Finds Daniel Bryant, just looking up the field, doesn't see too many options he likes, so just chips it.
This is better. They've maintained the ball, maintained the possession. At least it's got up the field, and this kick going inside 50 has been the one. The next kick now going inside 50 has been the one that's really let them down. Can they find a leading option? Can they find a good spot up target?
Yeah, for sure. And tip it now into the 50. Over the top, but again, to no one in particular, right to the pocket and deep. You mentioned that earlier. If you're going to kick it deep, you really need to know. You got to have someone there as your bit of an idea where you want to go, but instead just bombs it in there and to no one in particular.
And as for Mayo, I mean, he kicked it to the right person. He looks like he's about 7 foot something, Mayo, but he's playing at the back, relying on his reach rather than his height. Mm-hmm. And if you've got that height, you've got that gift, surely you're playing front.
Yeah, and also when you do jump with a bit of a run-up, you get that taller, obviously, and use that wingspan. But out the back now is Ingle Farm, one-on-one in the 50. Can he use his body and use his strength? He does, but the handball just a little bit too high over the top of everyone. Get caught high, wanting the advantage, but
could be 25 here.
It's the other way around the free kick. I don't think you realise that, so it is a 25, kicking the ball away, and probably the right decision as well, because now by the time they get the ball back, they've wasted a lot of time, and bit of a small win there for Houghton. They'll really want to make the most of this, as they have free possession of the ball just on the not far from the middle circle of the ground.
Good contest at full-back, one-on-one. Sanderson had his man in a jam, but he bounced back nicely to put the pressure on in the strong tackle and just kept Sanderson from finding a link-up play. Otherwise, it would have been a walk-in goal for the Doggies. As it is, they've got their snout in the bowl. I'm not sure that dogs do have snouts. I should say their nose in the bowl, and they're licking it all up at the moment. So Houghton have pushed one behind the footy, just to try to repel any forward press that Ingle Farm take, but they've kicked it again on ahead. The kick was meant for Evans, but he's not going to mark many above his head. Devon Payne just spins back into trouble. He was taken high. Umpire says it's going to be a downfield free kick. It's the last thing Houghton needed. And a real chance for Bradley Sanderson. Not sure if he was the closest one to the drop of the ball, but they've given away another 25 here, the Raiders. This is turning into an absolute horror show at Hawthorn.
When you're down by that much, you've got to be a bit more disciplined than you usually would. Well, you always got to be disciplined because, you can't be giving away any of those free, cheap 25s, and that's what happened on this occasion.
Sanderson puts through the most elementary of kicks, 20 out directly in front. Pops it into the open boot of one of the cars parked just behind the goals at the western end of the ground. Goodness gracious me, it's getting out of control. And, the dam, if it hasn't burst, the cracks are massive at the moment. Ingle Farm, 9-8-62. Houghton, 2-6-18. They need a hero in a hurry.
Yeah, they just really need to make the most of the moments they do get forward in their 50. They've missed a few that they would have liked to get, and also just, as we've been saying, not kicking it exactly where they want or more in a more dangerous area. So we'll see if they can fix that one up. But Ingle Farm do go forward from that centre clearance over the top of everyone. Takes a bounce, but no one can beat the boundary line, and it'll be a boundary throw-in. Or no, it'll be last man possession rule, of course, in the Adelaide Footy League.
We did see on a couple of weeks ago a bit of a pretense to what we're seeing now in a semi-final. What was the grand final qualifier? Ingle Farm recording an 86-point win. That was on home turf. So we thought neutral territory. Houghton buoyed by defeating second place Para Hills twice in 3 weeks. That they were primed perhaps. In the week off, you're never too sure how it's going to play. Ingle Farm had 2 weeks off in the space of 3. But it's played a massive role in the warm afternoon, and Houghton just aren't handling the conditions. Short kick, which means they've got an option on long, you would have thought. Being held on to, gee, wanted a free kick. Umpire wasn't coming to the party. Here we go, Houghton. Can they go from half back? The fans urged them on, but he stopped in his tracks. Nice marking. Mason Pitt got back, and the kick, was about 14.9 metres. So the umpire rounded up and said, yeah, I'm going to give you the benefit of the doubt and pay you the mark. And he's kicked, was that a 3 or 4 on none behind the footy? And Ingle Farm, they've got players absolutely everywhere. And Mason Pitt, who was laying the defensive pressure moments ago, gets himself up the ground to take the mark. And he's found Delchow.
Yeah, the kicks to just a pack of the Ingle Farm players, to no one there. They go forward, nearly the one-handed mark, but he gives away the free kick for that physical bump.
Umpires this evening it out a little bit. Brandon Rigney just stuck at the back. That kick's not going to work. And they're inviting pressure upon themselves. Can't pick it up at the first time. Taken high. Well, he's played for that free kick and he's gotten a bit lucky. He's won umpire lotto. He's got the winning ticket. I don't think he took him high, but he certainly made it look like, and he's... if they don't win the grand final, he's going to have an Academy Award to put on his mantelpiece this afternoon. Wins the free kick, but he turns it over straight away, and they're back over their heads. Tanchos, Houghton Districts, they're huffing and puffing. Should take a mark here. They had about a 3 on none as Ingle Farm just weren't ready for the turnover. Again, he sat it on his head, and he lets him know about it. Lachlan Sandercott coming all the way up the ground. Isn't he pumped? He's run back to about 40 metres off the play. He's absolutely up and about. Another kick, not to their players' advantage. We've seen too many of those. Still time for Houghton. Few goals in this quarter, you never know. Strong tackle. He's almost tackled him straight into the filming footy commentary position there. The captain in Tanchos, he took Bradley Anderson over the line. We've got an injured player right in front of us. Not sure if you saw that, Jad.
Yeah, he just caught him a bit in the ribs. So maybe a bit winded, but hopefully it's nothing more than that. But he looks a bit of a pain. See who it is when he
might have
when he
caught him
over.
a little bit lower, perhaps.
Maybe.
He's just reached the hand down into the nether regions, and the captain Tanchos, little bit of to and fro happening off the ball. It's been there most of the day. Up and off, and Cody Catchpole jogs off, so looks to be in good health. It's the ruckman's job to do, and it's got to start somewhere. Good little shepherd off the ball from the captain, Tanchos. It came out somehow, and that somehow was not a legal disposal. So, here's Bradley Anderson. The time they waste here allows Ingle Farm to set their defence. They've got to have numbers there. He had 1 grab, 2 grabs. Couldn't make the Sharon stay in his control. They'll get bailed out by the umpire here. 27 gone. They need a goal. They need it quickly. Well, we've had a few goals in this term. 4 goals. This quarter shouldn't go as long as the first. 3 goal to 1 term. Houghton kicked the first of this second quarter. That seems like light years ago now. Here's Martin, the captain. Didn't work. He follows up. Was he met high? No. Umpire put the whistle away. Quality umpiring. Tried to play for the free kick. They've turned it over going inside 50 again. Frustration levels rising. They've done well just to hold him up. Little 45 kick works. As Brandon Maguire takes the mark and the siren goes in the background. It's the Ingle Farm fans who are up and about. They've had to endure a couple of losses in the C-grade prelim and the reserves grand final. If the halftime scoreboard is anything to give us a bit of a pretense on the result, then they're going to go home a little bit happier at the end of the main one. Jad, a first half where Houghton certainly came out of the blocks in that first quarter. A couple of clearances, really nice. But Ingle Farm, the connection between their midfield and their forward line, the decision-making has been spot on. The first options on the same page and, dominant footy, but still a half to play.
Yeah, for sure. And the chemistry that they've shown Ingle Farm to just get those balls in the dangerous position, taking the marks to where in areas of the field that really can propel you forward. But also sometimes they're a bit uncontested, but if it makes sense, too uncontested, there should be more a little bit resistance from the Houghton players, just making sure they mark their person and don't let them get those easy marks. But they've been doing well with their kicking, good at kicking efficiency, I'd say. Probably be very high, Ingle Farm, just finding their targets on more occasions than not, and with their dangerous forward, with of course Terrell Wigney 3 goals, he kicked 7 goals against Houghton last time they played. So just some of those more dangerous players getting their fill and getting their confidence up, and the scoreboard shows for it.
So goal kickers at half time. Brandon Rigney has 1. Terrell Rigney has 2. Sanderson's got 3. So a real tricky opposition player. He's big, he's tough, he's strong, and he certainly made his girth. His weight show in that first half, and Perna Haig has 2 for the Bulldogs. For the Raiders, Mail with 1 and Kai Vandermeer with the other. But as you mentioned, Judd, the situation that Houghton do find themselves in, it's more of their own doing. Ingle Farm have been good, but it's been more or less, and more times than not, it's been Houghton giving them the ball and really attacking spots. So it's all in their hands. If they can tighten up, find those leading options, just lower their eyes a bit. A 7-goal margin is a lot, but as I mentioned last week, they put 7 goals to 1 on in the first quarter against Para Hills in that prelim final. So
yeah, for sure.
All to play for. Div 7 grand final day. Jack Moore and Jad Gosson on the Div 7. Cool. Halftime break. Go get a drink, get a couple of snacks. We'll be back with you here at Hawthorn, home of the Mitcham Hawks at Price Memorial Oval for the second half. Can Ingle Farm go on with it? Well, their home supporters certainly hope they do. A lead of 44 points at the main break.
Well, folks, we're down here at the Banner Crew. Our friend, supporter and sponsor of Between the Posts has joined us. Welcome, Jason Goods.
Thanks, Tony. Nice to be with you.
What can the people out there expect to buy from the Banner Crew and get looked after?
Pretty much anything that you can put your club logo on, or a message from the club, whether it be like you mentioned, a marquee or a flag or an A-frame or a banner, a stubby holder, a pen, anything like that, anything that you can pop the club branding on. Everything's customisable. So basically we've got an in-house design department with 2 graphic designers that can work toward getting the message across that you're after.
We're down here at 318 to 326 St Vincent Street, Port Adelaide. Jason, thank you so much for your support.
Nine News teaming up with the Adelaide Footy League. Tom Wren on the ground at your club for Thursday Night Live, strengthening communities through footy.
And Crone takes the lead in the Gilmore. Crone draws clean out from Mizzy. It's a Queensland victory. And a big payday for his owners, winning the English Millennium in a romp.
But Ayrton the class, and Ayrton won the Victoria Handicap.
But Mahuta goes all the way. Where again, Mahuta?
Taliqua, too classy for them. The Blue Star flashing, beats the ball. A Blue Star gets up the win.
But it's all Globe, 100 metres to go. It's 6 lengths in front. This is an outstanding performance again. And Globe eased down, won the King's Coronation Cup in a canter.
Well, folks, we're down here at the Banner Crew. Our friend, supporter and sponsor of Between the Posts has joined us. Welcome, Jason Goods.
Thanks, Tony. Nice to be with you.
What can the people out there expect to buy from the Banner Crew and get looked after?
Pretty much anything that you can put your club logo on or a message from the club, whether it be, like you mentioned, a marquee or a flag or an A-frame or a banner, a stubby holder, a pen, anything like that, anything that you can pop the club branding on. Everything's customisable, so basically we've got an in-house design department with 2 graphic designers that can work toward getting the message across that you're after.
We're down here at 318 to 326 St Vincent Street, Port Adelaide. Jason, thank you so much for your support.
Nine News, teaming up with the Adelaide Footy League. Tom Wren on the ground at your club for Thursday Night Live, strengthening communities through footy.
And Crone takes the lead in the Gilmore. Crone draws clean out from Mizzy. It's a Queensland victory. And a big pay
Victoria handicap.
But Mahuda goes all the way. Where again, Mahuda?
Taliqua, too classy for them. The Blue Star flashing beats the ball. A Blue Star gets up the win.
But it's all Globe, 100 metres to go. It's 6 lengths in front. This is an outstanding performance again. And Globe eased down, won the King's Coronation Cup in a canter.
Well, folks, we're down here at the Banner Crew. Our friend, supporter and sponsor of Between the Posts has joined us. Welcome, Jason Goods.
Thanks, Tony. Nice to be with you.
What can the people out there expect to buy from the Banner Crew and get looked after?
Pretty much anything that you can put your club logo on or a message from the club, whether it be, like you mentioned, a marquee or a flag or an A-frame or a banner, a stubby holder, a pen, anything like that, anything that you can pop the club branding on. Everything's customisable, so basically we've got an in-house design department with 2 graphic designers that can work toward getting the message across that you're after.
We're down here at 318 to 326 St Vincent Street, Port Adelaide. Jason, thank you so much for your support.
Nine News, teaming up with the Adelaide Footy League. Tom Wren on the ground at your club for Thursday Night Live, strengthening communities through footy.
And Crone takes the lead in the Coolmore. Crone draws clean out from Mizzy. It's a Queensland victory. And a big payday for his owners, winning the English Millennium in a romp.
But Ayrton the class, and Ayrton won the Victoria handicap.
But Mahuda goes all the way. Where again, Mahuda?
Taliqua, too classy for them. The Blue Star flashing beats the ball. A Blue Star gets up the win.
But it's all Globe, 100 metres to go. It's 6 lengths in front. This is an outstanding performance again. And Globe eased down, won the King's Coronation Cup in a canter.
Right on time and back for the second half. Div 7 Grand Final. Jack Moore and Jad Gosson. A first half that was dominant from the Bulldogs, and they start the same way. First centre clearance, and it goes on the outer wing. The speed machines after it. Catchpole. Living up to his name, or the first half of his last name anyway. And he's going to win a free kick here. He was held on to afterwards, and just what Houghton Districts didn't want. To start this second half, they went in with a 44-point deficit and a couple of quick goals for Ingle Farm, and it could be gone this grand final. But a free kick going the way of the Raiders as they can try to move it out of defensive 50. It's in a tough position. They found it tough to get the ball up the ground in the first half, and coming up to meet it, but running underneath it. Was he pushed? Free kick at the back. Socks up. Means business. Couple of tall bean poles out there for Houghton. Here's one of them. He's got Mail, who at the moment is in forward 50 in the goal square. Doesn't come out on a strong lead. And the kick goes down the ground. It could be a free kick, or he was taken afterwards. Umpires are right on the ball to start this third quarter. Will be a downfield free kick, so it'll be a shot on goal from about, I reckon the man of the mark's going to be up about 45 out, and he'll kick from the arc. The man of the mark's just snuck a couple of metres there, so bit of a lax defensive zone pushing back, and it'll be a mark taken about 25 or 30 metres out. Tight angle. It'll be Anderson of the Bradley variety for Houghton. This, exactly what Kyron Lover would have talked about at the halftime break.
Yeah, it's better that we've seen a lot of their shots from that 50-metre mark, so just found that little bit of room a bit more closer to goal.
Ingle Farm fans in that pocket do all they can to put him off. It's going to go right to the line. And he can't make the distance, but if they're going to get this margin back, 1 point at a time, there's the first one. 2-7-19, lead cut to 43. Ingle Farm still in control, but at the right end of the ground for the Raiders. 40th year anniversary, and they'll celebrate that by returning up to Div 6, regardless of result, of course. Last flag back in 1999. They secured a reserves flag earlier today, so at least some success. They're out the back. They've broken here. It's about 2-on-1. And they're off to the races. Ball needs to sit. It does. Sparks running onto it. And he's going to just get the handball back inside. Kick towards the goal square. 1-on-1. Just uses all his weight. And he dives over the try line. Or the behind line to score a try anyway. The red sirens were going off. But Woodcock on the last line of defence. Able to rush it through. So the behind at one end. Cancelled out. And we return to our half-time margin of 44 points. Live free and exclusive. Div 7 Grand Final here from Mitcham Hawks Footy Club on Filming Footy.
The ball coming outside the 50 now, but no mark taken, so they'll want to repeat inside 50 now, coming from Ingle Farm. Just a nice little chip into the dangerous position and into one of the attacking players. Good composure there. Could have easily just bombed it towards a goal or a bit more of a risky kick, but just took the little chip ball and found the person he wanted to, so we'll have another shot at goal here. Going the way of Perna Haig, who already has one for this afternoon. So Perna Haig now lining up about 35 metres out. Not much of an angle. Comes in. Beautifully kicked and gets the first for the quarter. And Ingle Farm just extend that lead a little bit more, and nicely played there with that composure. And as we mentioned, the kicking efficiency has just been a lot better from Ingle Farm, and knew exactly what to do with that kick, and he's happy with that one. Big celebration.
A journeyman of lower division footy, Jordan Perna Haig. He's had time at Salisbury West, Brahma Lodge, Para Hills, Central United the past couple of seasons. Chasing an elusive premiership. Going from club to club. You can call him the Wanderer because he roams from town to town. And he might have landed himself at a club and playing a crucial role on grand final day of taking home a premiership medal. Lead blows out now, 50 points. The Raiders need to sort themselves out because they're all over the place at the moment. Their structure has been exposed and torn apart. And the ill discipline is just
down the line as well.
Going up and up and up, and it's just a domino effect. Another downfield free kick. Lining up directly in front. The ball fell at the feet of Terrell Rigney, who already has a couple on the day. and added a third to his name in the second quarter. So, not the man you want the ball in the hands of in the space of 5 minutes. Ingle Farm, they've blown Houghton out of the water, and they're on their way, the doggies. It's been a domination from the Dogs. Bucked out of the blocks with a 6-goal-to-1 opening term, open up a 5-goal quarter-time lead. And, well, if it keeps going the way it started, the fourth quarter might be more of a celebration than a footy game. 11-9, 75. Ingle Farm, Houghton 2-7, 19. 56-point gap, 5.5 gone, third quarter.
Another goal there for Troy Rigney, has 4. He kicked 7, of course, last time they played 2 weeks ago, so he'll probably be looking to better that one on a personal level, but more importantly, push himself towards that premiership for his club. Raiders get the clearance this time and nearly takes the mark in their half forward, but just couldn't.
Hold those.
And that rush kick now towards the boundary line.
Nothing is going the Raiders' way, even when they get two hands to the footy. They just can't grasp it.
They get the last man kick now, and the nice chip right in front of us here. Looking up and looking for a bit of a run.
There's a comeback. It's got to start now.
Jake Martin with the captain does a nice run. We've been tasking the Raiders forwards to do a little bit more of those, but they did ignore it. It just went to a pack. So again, just come straight out. Nicely intercepted though, and they'll try and get a repeat inside 50 now, but it will be another long bomb to no one in particular, and nicely sat in the hole was the defence of Ingle Farm there. Read the play better and just chips it wide now, finding their way out of defence slowly.
Not sure what they've talked about at half-time. You've got to hand it to Kyron Lovell, who's been a key part of this Houghton District success story in 2023. As he's gone, he took him on, tried to shake him out of his boots, and he got a little bit cheeky. 56-point lead. He thought he could just, just bring out a bit of an AFL-style little come and take my lollies. But he forgot that he was pinned in the pocket, and this might be a route back into this game. Oh, he's kept it near sides. And needed that. The comeback needed to start right there. I was just saying, Kyron Lovell has been a real key part of this success story for Houghton Districts. But whatever the chat's been about at half-time, an entrance inside forward 50 there for Houghton. Exact same thing we saw in the first half. Kicked into a pack on top of heads. Hasn't worked in the first 2 quarters. You've got to either kick it short or kick it long, because kicking it to the pack, it's just not working.
Yeah, especially when someone actually made the run and was in a bit of room with his lead-up play, but didn't go to him, and then just, more of the same. And then when they do get the opportunity like that one missing is really going to hurt the confidence and will not help them in any shape to get back into this match, which is blowing out a little bit here.
They're the kind of kicks and marks Ingle Farm have held on, and well, an Ingle Farm do a Houghton, they drop one they should have taken, and that should mean that there's Raiders numbers everywhere inside 50. If they can just slow down the tempo and find the target, the courage to come back and affect the contest from the captain. This should be a goal for the Raiders. That really needed to be a goal for the Raiders. But you've got to put down that save to the captain from Ingle Farm, Daniel Tanchos, who busted a gut 20 metres to run and affect what would have been an uncontested mark to Connor Harlan. Real chance blowing. And every half chance they've got to take, every quarter chance. They've had a couple in the past few moments. That snap from the boundary and that entrance inside 50, they both needed to be goals. As it is, they've added points to their tally. The lead compresses. 44 at half-time and 54 now. 9-goal break. It's a lot to do, but there's still time on the clock. Ball falls to the back where Ingle Farm have been well stocked and the cupboard is full. Right there, Mason Pitt, he's putting his hand up for the best on ground. Finds a target just to ease the pressure coming out of half back, and there's numbers free in the middle when he finds McAleer. Buck on the wing, he's going to try his luck, and it might just fall short. Buck is the next link in the chain, but electing to go a little bit longer than that, he's going to turn it straight over. This is Babiak. Short, good talk. One thing they've lacked in that opening half. Vandermeer, great kick. That is the one thing the Raiders have lacked in the first half. Someone coming towards the ball. As soon as they see the mark taken, they've kicked a pack so many times it hasn't worked. That time, the kick went short of where the bodies were gathered, and, well, it's a successful mark.
Exactly,
Can he convert?
yeah. Kicks it into space and kicks it in the path of the oncoming attacking run. So they'll have a shot at goal now because of that.
We've called for it all first half, and that needs to go through. It's flowing through. Umpire dances, but there's the route back into the game for the Raiders. On the Dartfish replay, the one time today they've actually kicked short of where the Ingle Farm defenders thought the kick was going to go, and there was a spare player, a mark taken, lead-up option, and converted. It's a simple formula. It's got to work, 8 more times while keeping Ingle Farm goalless, so they might have left themselves too much work to do. But if you wanted a route back into this one, there's your formula.
Yeah, better signs, and they've been probably the more inside 50s this quarter, so really need to make the most of it when they do go forward, and winning a lot of the midfield work as well with their work there with the middle. The ball now just finds itself out onto the wing. A good jostle there to get the possession of it, but no luck either way, and it just trickles over for a throw-in, a boundary throw-in. The two ruckmen here now setting up. Both teams wanting to win this clearance to propel their team forward. The ball just trickles out the back, and now Houghton go forward once again into the 50. 1-on-1 becomes a 2-on-1, but good speed along the wing, running towards the goal, slips over just the last second, and is caught high.
Here they come. Raider Army.
Thought about playing on, but comes back now and will have a shot at goal. His speed was the crucial part of the reason there. They got that free kick, just ran away from him, snaps it around with his left, and sails through for 2 in a row, going the way of Houghton. Very nicely done. His speed was the main factor there in creating the goal, and got rewarded with a free kick, which he finished off nicely. They haven't done that often enough, and was very well done on that occasion.
Vandermeer up forward. He is proving to be a difficult parcel and package to handle. He's kicked 3 now, back-to-back goals for the Raiders. The formula and the blueprint has been laid down.
He used his speed for the lead-up play, and again there to get that goal. So yeah, if they can keep getting in his hands, special things will happen.
Game's not over. We called for it at half-time. Lower the eyes going inside forward 50. Kicking in front of the pack is Ingle Farm. And we had a first half chock-a-block of it, of Houghton going to that pack. That's where all their defenders are setting up. They're expecting that kick just to go a bit longer. And Houghton, they might have just clicked on. Let's get it short. Let's see what happens. And Kai Vandermeer has bounced into this game. Had a go on the second. Clearance. His brother Wade. If it's going to be Houghton's day, it's going to be the Vandermeers. It's a Vandermeer show. Here's Kai. Gets it inside 50. That one goes to the pack. It hasn't worked all day. This one might. Off hands. Strong tackle. Was he taken high? Umpire said he threw it out, and the advantage is taken. Mason Pitt is away. Once again, they kick to a pack, and it doesn't work. Thought they might have learnt their lesson with those last couple of goals. Not to be on that occasion, but can they bring the pressure in the heat, and can they keep it locked in their forward half? Del Chow, and all of a sudden they're out. Catch pole, watch out, because they're dangerous in the forward 50. Up he goes! He touched the stars! The umpire was not in a mood to accommodate, and he's paid a free kick, because there was a free kick infringement just in front of that mark.
Oh, no.
Can that go down as a Dartfish mark of the day? I'm not sure it can.
Best mark to not be paid?
Yeah, he's gone up, but the player just behind, he pushed Woodcock under the flight of the ball. Umpire right there, so you've got to give him the benefit of the doubt. Ingle Farmer away. Devon Payne, he's going to load up. Oh, that's a backbreaker for the Raiders. They thought they had the formula to get back in this one, and Devon Payne said, no, you don't. Named in the best 7 of 13 games, 25 goals in 13 games, top 10 league best and fairest. when you need the big names just to rise, just to calm the group, Devon Payne is certainly one of them. He says, boys, we've got a 50-point lead on the scoreboard. Let's not lose our heads just because Houghton have got a couple in a row. Lead back out to 49. And, well, if you can call it a settler, it is the one that Ingle Farm did need. 15 gone on the Sportal scoreboard. Ingle Farm 12-9, 81. Houghton 4-9, 33.
Yeah, for sure. Payne 3 goals last time they played and used his experience there. Didn't let that high-flying mark not being paid distract him to finish off. They get another clearance now, Ingle Farm. Towards the 50. The one-handed grab, if you don't mind, from Sanderson. 3 goals this game and a one-handed mark. You'll take that in the grand final. Going forward now. No mark taken. Punch over the back. It'll trickle out for a boundary throw-in. They'll throw it in now in the pocket of the Ingle Farm forward 50.
It's called as flying by, hasn't it, Judge? 16 minutes gone already. Goodness gracious. I thought it was wasn't that much on the clock, but every second that ticks down, we're ticking towards a Bulldogs flag here.
The clearance now nicely ducked out the way by the umpire as Houghton try and get it out of that danger zone. They do for a moment, but set up nicely behind the ball. Ingle Farm trying to get that repeat entry. They do now. Through the way of Jai Martin. Into the pocket. Houghton really just rushing a kick forward, getting it as far away as the goal as they can. And Martin's there again, as well as Sanderson. Does well to just run into some space.
Somebody catch
Snaps
that man!
on his right, but just left. But the bounce after the goal nearly.
Oh, very lucky that ball didn't fall a metre short because that came back at Shane Warne angles.
It was past already the
I
so.
think that would have gone through.
But yeah, Sanderson looking dangerous. I mentioned 3 goals. The one-handed mark, which I'm a big fan of. That might be the mark of the day, with the other one not counting.
And he's got a bit of footwork and nifty movement for a big fella, doesn't he? He stepped through a few of them there.
Yeah, very good good techniques and footwork there. And they get another inside 50 now from the kick-in and find a mark just on the edge of the 50, basically.
Gee, back-to-back goals for House, and then directly after that, centre clearance. They sent it long. They had an umpire decision that went against them, that throw, and there could have been a high contact free, and all of a sudden Ingle Farm numbers everywhere at the minute. And Ingle Farm went straight back up the other end of the ground, kicked that last goal, and this one, well, we're at 50 points now. Half-time margin was 44, and for all Houghton's good work with 17.5 gone, Ingle Farm could be about to say goodnight.
With the kick now with the left. A lot of work for the umpire to do and just sneaks for a behind, actually. Not the best kick on that occasion, but still just showing how dangerous they are. And almost those 2 goals in a row from Houghton really just woke up Ingle Farm a bit just to be like, oh, wait a second, we don't really want them to get any sniff of coming back. So just lifted a level there and another nice mark there.
This guy has been inspirational.
Yeah,
the word is used a lot in footy, hasn't it?
Tan's Costa, the captain, playing a definite captain in the game.
Unbelievable.
Be up there for one of the best goals. He gets another go now, Brendan Rigney, but the chip into the pocket just falls to no one, and it'll be a last man rule.
All right, so look at the scoreboard. 51 points. We've played 18.5, time on approaching. What do Houghton District need to cut this margin to at three-quarter time to manage a game? It's a massive ask, 50 points, but what if they can tack on 3 or 4 goals? This umpiring decision is not going to help them. It's going to be another inside 50 for the Farmers. But gee, if they can survive here over the back, they spoiled each other, snap around the body. They're leaving a few goals out there here, Ingle Farm. Last possession, free kick. So what if Houghton can tack on 4 goals, cut this margin to under about 30 points at three-quarter time? Is that what they need in the last 7 or 8 minutes here?
Yeah, basically, they got those 2 goals in a row, which should get their confidence up that they can get a run on goals. So we'll see if they can do that. But yeah, a few more goals here, and anything's possible. In a final, they were even last time in the prelim at three-quarter time, so know how to play a big final when needed to win. So be interesting to see what happens. I think those type of kicks won't help when you just turn it over easily, and we've seen that a lot. But we've seen when they do get their confidence up with those kicking, they do find those dangerous positions.
Hands like a vice coming out from Sanderson. He's had one of his best games, not one of his best kicks, although it's going to work out, almost worked out nicely. And it does. Buttering up beautifully, Brandon Rigney. Giving it to Pitt. He's a mosquito out there. He's just finding gaps. And he finds Sandercock. On this near wing, just takes a few steps back and needs a few more seconds off the clock. Smart footy.
Of course, the best player of the day getting those Archie thongs and Sportle beanie. So,
oh, that's a mark of the year! If the last one went up and touched the stars, he's come down with the moon. Quick play on. Gee, we had a chance to look at it on the Dartfish replay. You're not missing much as the kick's been turned over. Oh. They're going to take away the flag maybe, and they're going to take away mark of the year. Give that man a car. Reason to rewind your YouTube stream right there and take a look back at that at 3/4 time. Game rolls on. Kick inside 50. There's Hogan. Intercept mark and a crucial one. Well, nothing to lose now for the Raiders. Take the game on at all costs. Fast footy is what's going to get them back in this one. If there's any route back in, two hands, straight in the back. Umpire does not miss it. Got to get it on quickly. Got to move it now. 1-on-1 ahead of the footy. Ingle Farm has had time to push a spare number back. Mayo ran himself under the flight of the ball and he couldn't knock it on. And there's Mace Pitt getting in and under, winning himself a free kick. But it's the way they've got to move the ball. Isn't that right, Jad? They've got to get it inside 50 quickly. And Pitt just needed to influence that contest and he was too easily run out the way.
Yeah, that's right. Just a little bit more of the same as this second quarter enters the 21st minute. They've just been
dangerous.
Here
they come.
Over there.
And this could be a choice. Throwing his head back as soon as he kicked it and he didn't look up.
Yeah, just more of the same, really. Unfortunately, for Houghton, just can't get those kicks stringing along. And when they do, it's a bit of a rare moment getting a 2 or 3 marks in a row. Oh, another big fly and another big mark there by Brandon Rigney. He's done a few of them now. Running through the ground now, taking a bounce into the 50 metres. Who's there to try and take the mark? Good body work to get his opponent out the way. Centres it, I think, to one of his teammates to finish instead.
Wow.
And they do, so nicely done there. And finished by Shaden Rigney. So could have probably had a shot there, was Perner Haig, but noticed his teammate in just a little bit closer position and shared it around to get... he's already had a few goals, so he thought, you can have one, my teammate, and he did.
Dartfish replay. Not sure if his intent was to find his teammate there.
I think it
I
was.
don't know. He'll definitely say it was, won't he? He'll definitely say he was going for his teammate. The kick looked to be a snapshot. If you're running into an open goal, surely you try to hit it through the big sticks. But if he did it, if it was his intent, it just highlights the unselfishness of this Ingle Farm side. They play for each other. And, well, unselfish footy wins you the big games, and there's nothing bigger than a grand final. Centre clearance. They're threatening to blow this one apart. It's Nathan Buck out of the middle. And I just think the Ingle Farm players know they almost had this one won. If Devon Payne can add his second of the quarter, might just put an exclamation mark on one of the performances of the season for Ingle Farm Footy Club. Devon Payne, top 10 best and fairest, goes back, puts it through. Ingle Farm's day at Mitcham Footy Club. The Ingle Farm fans have travelled in number. And the Bulldogs, their last winning grand final coming in 2013. Well, their next one is only about 35 minutes away. This has been a demolition, an exhibition in footy. Ingle Farm, the premiership is beckoning.
Nicely called, yeah. That straight from the middle to get those 2 in 30 seconds is a real killer for any of the dreams that Houghton had, and really just sealed the deal after a good start to the third quarter, I would say, from Houghton. Probably had the better play and in their 50 a lot of the time, but once the Ingle Farm just realised what was going on, controlled the game and scoring at will again. Even their defence now done well to get it out of their centre cock. The ball just racing towards the boundary line. Catchpole's there. Keeps it in, which was nicely done, but they'll get in another inside 50 here. Houghton just finding a bit of room for a kick. Spins around, gets past one, and the kick just snaps it. But it is a push in the back, so it's going to come back and be another another shot at goal. He'll get to do that one again for being pushed as he kicked it.
It's 24 and 3/4 minutes, almost 25 played, and this from Kai Vandermeer has been the only route to goal. He's kicked 3 of their 4 majors, including 2 in this quarter. So, well, he's going to at least have himself a bit of a successful term.
2 in this quarter, outside the foot, and gets his 3rd one this quarter, 4th for total for this match. Very nicely paid there. Knew exactly what he wanted to do and didn't hesitate with that difficult kicking style.
Yeah, he made no mistake. Had a bit of a rehearsal to that shot, roughly about 5 or 6 minutes ago, where he was on the run and just kept it near side. Or no, it was the set shot in the pocket, wasn't it?
Yeah.
In the boundary there, where the Ingle Farm player took the man on and got pinged holding the ball, and kicked it narrow. That one made no mistake. Put it through, as you said, a hat-trick of goals for Vandermeer in this quarter and 4 of the 5.
Yeah, he's been very dangerous. So
the Raiders.
So they can get it more in his hands. It'll be very handy for them. But now the another nice clearance there by Ingle Farm. I like how they did the handball backwards to go forwards and just found the player in a bit more better position to kick the ball forward. Didn't dispose of the possession properly, so be a free kick. Takes the advantage and a bounce straight through the middle of the ground. But the kick again just getting turned over way too easily. The defender was in front of the player there and easily marked it.
Just have
Matthew
not
Smith.
been on the same page at all. Ingle Farm, conversely, it's like they've read each other's minds, had a bit of ESP this afternoon. They've just known what their teammate is going to do with their kick. And Ingle Farm just have been too good. Houghton unable to communicate. Mark to the man in front. Ingle Farm's away. So 65-point lead, or make that 66 on the Sportal scoreboard as we tick down towards 3/4 time. Margin was 44 at the half. Ingle Farm came here today to Mitcham Oval at Hawthorn, home with the mighty Mitcham Hawks, with 3 teams. Went down in the C grade in the prelim final. Marion with the chocolates there in the C6. And Div 7 reserves. It was Houghton's day. A bit of an upset. This is Wade Vandermeer. Goodness me, is it just the Vandermeers putting their hand up for the Raiders?
Yeah, both the Vandermeers really can hold their heads high. They've been very good in really keeping them alive in terms of not getting it too big of a margin. I mean, it's big enough already in a grand final. But Wade Vandermeer now having a shot on goal.
Here's Wade to join his brother on the goal kickers list. Might just fall short. Umpire just straddles the line to get in the best position and just does a little bit of a moonwalk back over the behind line. And a behinds added to the scoreboard. Mason Pitt, easy mark as the Bulldogs take it and they bring it in. So the Ingle Farm supporters have waited since 10 o'clock this morning for a victory. They would have come here with high hopes of 3 wins out of 3. They're 0 from 2 in the first couple of games. This one, Ingle Farm came in with a delectable season record, and it's proven to be on grass. The pressure wasn't felt from the Farmers at all, as they were expected to win the reserves too, and Houghton said, no, we're taking that flag. As a bit of a attempted torpedo goes to a Ingle Farm player, Sandercock, with nobody around him. He finds Adrian Harris, a Golden Grove player from 2012 to 2019. He's come back to Ingle Farm for glory. Devon Payne has been probably best of the quarter. Mason Pitt, who was just at half back, he sprinted about 200 metres to be an option, and he's taken the mark, 55 out from goal. And just holding up the clock here to just lower the eyes. Mason Pitt, you are a superstar, young man. And they're just playing with him now. The Doggies are playing with their food at the moment, and they've got the Raiders absolutely dead to rights. And we've still got a quarter to go. As we tick towards 30 minutes on the clock. Anything is possible in footy, Jad, but as Jack Delchow comes in to kick a goal.
Yeah, with 30 minutes played, a goal right now, right near the end of the siren of the quarter, will be big.
Delchow, 100th game in round 17 for these Farmers. They planted the seeds in the regular season, and they're reaping the rewards on grand final day.
As you said, a little bit of playing with the food. They had a mark and then chipped it forward about 15, 20 metres to get a better kick and then did it again. So just really chipping about to find the best angle and distance to go. And they do get the goal from doing that. So, yeah, Ingle Farm being well on top again this quarter. And we'll be definitely happy going into three-quarter time with this lead in the grand final. And the third quarter, they say premiership quarter, and it's going to prove to be the case in this Div 7 grand final.
Got to hand it to the Houghton team. They've had a beautiful final series run, defeating, of course, Para Hills, who finished in second place 2 times to reach this day. In the middle of the ground, they've been pretty good. They've broken even, but as soon as it's gotten out in space, it's been all the Bulldogs. And there's Rigney, who's been pushed into the on-ball group. Must be getting a bit sick and tired of kicking goals. Brandon certainly isn't. The brothers combine. The Farmers are off to the races. And this fourth quarter is going to be a bit of a celebration term as they know now that they've got it. And they've got it won. The Bulldogs kick clear to a 67-point break. And they're going to break their 10-year senior grand final winning drought. 16, 11, 107. Houghton District 5, 10, 40. They need more than a miracle now.
Last 2 times these two teams played each other, both times Ingle Farm had 141 points, and both times was 21 goals, 15. So I'm curious to see if that happens again. It'll be a bit of a numerology type scoreline. It happened twice already, so let's see if it happens for a third time. But either way, the most important thing for Ingle Farm is they will get this victory and a premiership in the Div for in the A grades is always a major achievement for the club. That kick rushed, however, and Houston turnover, but the tackle from behind as he plays on. We'll see what the umpires give that one. But
yeah, siren's gone.
Oh, siren went. I didn't even hear it, but yeah, that
quite siren here.
Confirms the third quarter, three-quarter time, and as we all been talking about, 16, 11, 107 plays 6, 10, 40. We'll go for a quick break and come back with everyone for the fourth quarter.
Well, folks, we're down here at the Banner Crew. Our friend, supporter and sponsor of Between the Posts has joined us. Welcome, Jason Goods.
Thanks, Tony. Nice to be with you.
What can the people out there expect to buy from the Banner Crew and get looked after?
Pretty much anything that you can put your club logo on or a message from the club, whether it be, like you mentioned, a marquee or a flag or an A-frame or a banner. A stubby holder, a pen, anything like that, anything that you can pop the club branding on. Everything's customisable, so basically we've got an in-house design department with 2 graphic designers that can work toward getting the message across that you're after.
We're down here at 318 to 326 St Vincent Street, Port Adelaide. Jason, thank you so much for your support.
Welcome back in. It's been a warm afternoon. It's pre-season weather at Mitcham Footy Club, Hawthorn Oval, Price Memorial Oval. And we welcome you into what will be a bit of a fourth quarter coronation for Ingle Farm as we're here in the filming footy booth. Jack Moore and Judd Gosson alongside our filming footy team and crew. And it's been a dominant performance up to three-quarter time, Ingle Farm. They came here with one mission. It's been a season well put together with, going undefeated since round one. That was to Houghton in round one, so we thought maybe they might have a few plans to defeat the Bulldogs, but it looks like the grand final qualifier where Ingle Farm beat Houghton by 86 points, that form is holding true.
Yeah, that's right. It's been quite a dominant display so far by Ingle Farm. They were the favourites coming in, and they're really proving and showing why they were. Obviously, like you said, just one loss all season, and probably knew that this day would come, and they've planned for it well. Houghton, however, did kick 4 goals in that quarter, but when the opposition, Ingle Farm, kicked more, quite a high-scoring quarter, it's not always the best sign, and it really shows that, Ingle Farm just been a level ahead, and they'll take this fourth quarter to really celebrate and hammer home the point, I think. And Houghton, despite, as we said, they'll be happy to make the grand final, happy to get promoted, and we'll see if they can get some goals and just get some more cheers from their fans. They have a big fan base travelled down as well, so they'll want to show a good fourth quarter performance for them, and we'll see how it goes.
One particular gent I've noticed with Houghton flag, raises it high, has a Viking helmet on. He's probably had that on his head since about probably 10:30 this morning. His head must be a bit sweaty under there, I must imagine, but he's certainly decked out, and we saw a bit of a clash between a couple of opposition fans. But all friendly, nothing coming of it as the two fan groups gathered amongst their men out there in this Div 7 Grand Final. It's going the way of the Dogs, 1 quarter left, and the coronation begins.
The ball just comes out now, spills out the back of the contest, but the handball is nice by Houghton just to get the ball forward. Through Brian. Nicely done. Finds Wade Vandermeer now. Towards the final, towards the goals, but just wide of the post. So couldn't get a quick early goal. He had a back there, ready to take the mark, but just over the top of him.
Yeah, Houghton District's day in a bit of a nutshell. That they've been good enough in that centre square. Won a few clearances, probably broken even in terms of clearances.
Yep.
But just that kick, just caught in two minds. Had a free player out the back. Could have pinned the ears back, and unsuccessful, which has been a bit of a story of the day.
Yeah, for sure. Usually the midfield wins big finals, and the midfield's actually been pretty even. But once they get the ball, as we can see here, Ingle Farm just a little bit cleaner to find that space and find those uncontested marks, which is
clinical,
so important. Yeah, and surgical like with their passes. Look at that one, perfectly in the advantage of their attacking player, and the kick just, honestly, centimetre perfect to get that ball in an advantage where they can have another shot at goal. With Brandon Rigney being up and about third quarter, wanting to get on the party, he has 2 goals already.
I'm going to give that a Jack Moore kick of the day if we have a sponsor for that. He just absolutely put that on a 5-cent piece for Rigney to go up and make it his.
Brandon Rigney now goes for his third, and he gets it, and loves it with a big celebration. And usually they have the commentator curse when we talk about something and the opposite happens, but on that occasion just proved our point with that beautiful kick to advantage.
Rigney, 30 goals from 11 games coming into this, and he's added 3 this afternoon. Pretty good tally in return. He's come back to join his brothers. He's had time at Central District under 18, played some reserves footy in 2012 as well. Virginia, 2020 and 2021, Drossen as well. But he's a Ingle Farm Junior, along with the clan of Rigneys, I think we can call him, Shaden, Tyson, and Terrell. I believe there is another Rigney not playing today as well. And clearly they've all come back to play together. And it's a bit of a fairy tale story that when a family, a collection of brothers who have interspersed, all Rigneys have been all over the place. Terrell's played for Ardrossan, Williston, Salisbury West, Shaden's first year back, Tyson's first year back. They've come together for Ingle Farm, and it's just one of those stories you find in every premiership team. Every premiership team has one, and the Ingle Farm story is the Rigney brothers. They're going to be successful in a grand final, a promotion, and if they stay together for Div 6 footy next year is yet to be seen, but what a story.
Yeah, that's right, and just almost sums up community footy. You know, they all do their own thing, but then come back to the club that's close to their heart and compete fairly and using all their talents to see what can happen, and they'll be happy to have this premiership. Also, Terrell Rigney, had a mutual friend, actually, one of my mates knows him, and apparently just had he's a father recently. So again, very nice for him. Congrats to Rowett, been one of the stars of the show today, and can celebrate with his new son or daughter. I'm not exactly sure, but they go forward again now. Brandon wanting to get more goals here, snaps it around. And taken. Hits the post, I think. So very nearly would have been one of the goals of the day, but just clips the post on the way through and tried to get another one to his tally, but 3 remains for Brandon Rigney. That
would have been a little bit arrogance if that one went through from Ingle Farm. Just to rub a little bit of salt into what has been a gaping wound since quarter time. It was a 30-point gap at the first break, 44 at halftime. Coming through the middle of the ground and pushing it forward again. That was Tippett. He's been quiet. One of their best all season, though. He's spent time at Centrals, under 18. Kick into the forward 50. Babiak at the bootlaces of Vandermeer, who's been a shining beacon of light. 4 of their 5 goals coming the way of Kai Vandermeer for Houghton this afternoon. Their last flag in 1999. So at senior level, the wait goes on. It'll be still a season of success. Grand final defeats hurt, but they'll be in Division 6 as well as Ingle Farm next season. Going forward again, can they get themselves a couple of goals back just to add a bit of respectability? That kick from Sparks. 24 goals in 16 games for the vice-captain. Had time as a Kadena junior and played some A-grade footy out there, but returned to Houghton in the past few seasons. And a bit of a shout-out to, of course, Cameron Schutz, 5-time club best and fairest, and he played his 200th game in these final series for Houghton, a real club stalwart. At these lower levels of footy, as we see a mark taken by the captain Tanjos on the outer wing, and Ingle Farm look to go in a hurry. We'll come back to that. Put that story on ice. Payne inside forward 50. This might be a goal just to cap it off. Take the champagne off ice, Bulldogs fans. Get the glasses out. Pour yourself a drink. It's going to be a celebration to remember. A flag that has been 10 years in the waiting. And this one is yours.
Brendan Rigney again using his pace and loves a goal and loves a celebration. I don't think he wants to stop at 4, but yeah, like you said, they're just having fun out there now and really enjoying the moment, soaking it all in. The crowd here chanting like it's a Premier League soccer match and having fun on this beautiful weather for finals footy.
And that connects well to the point I was going to make as Ingle Farm broke that at this lower division of football, yeah, the quality might be better at Div 1, 2 level, but you see that family connection. You see players playing for the colours, playing for their club. A lot of these guys out here are junior players from both these clubs. They really love these clubs. And not to say players in Div 1 or 2 don't love their clubs, but there's more of a connection. And when success is achieved, that connection is just felt as it ripples around the ground. And Houghton District fans obviously have their heads in hands and they're a little bit disconsolate. But for the Ingle Farm supporters, it's, as I said, a premiership. Well won, 10 years in the waiting, and they're just going to add a little bit of cream on their cake in this fourth quarter.
Yeah, for sure. And like we've been saying, with Ingle Farm, they've, as you mentioned, they're getting their junior program together. And we heard from Houghton doing the same. It's very important. Both these clubs had a successful season, no matter the outcome here today, and they'll really be happy with this one, just to share the time off when they get this victory. That kick just missing, so he couldn't add another one. Was Bradley Sanderson had a very good game anyways. Sanderson,
I think, is just desperate to get himself a fourth quarter goal. Hit the scoreboard in the first and second quarter. 3 goals to half-time. Nothing since. I just get the feeling that Sanderson's got a bit of a celebration lined up for us if we do see a goal. Not just something I sense from the big fella. He's got a bit of a bit of a celebration streak. I can sense anyway.
Yeah, he's got the long sleeves on as well. That almost usually mentions they're out to have a bit of fun. And that kick again, just finding the mark and finding the attacking players. They might have some celebrations here they've been holding off to use. Now would be the time for sure. And finding Shaden Rigney, so as well.
It's a Rigney party.
Another one of the Rigney brothers. He has a goal this game. So just Tyson, the only one without a goal. So maybe they'll look for him out there.
Right behind it on Filming Footy. But best angle.
Shaden Rigney with the kick. Whoa. Bit of a floater spinning all over the place. And it just, misses quite
Have to
comprehensively to the left.
delete his name from my goal kickers list. I'd already written him in. Not that I'm an Ingle Farm fan in any way, shape or form, but the form of the Rigneys, I thought he could slot that one.
Yeah, usually you can just jot it down when they have the ball in their hands, but controlling this game late in this 8 minutes played in the fourth quarter now and finding that space again just to keep the ball moving forward, and Houghton on the way back really just doing anything they can just to keep
Pressure
it
is still high.
Spinned around and centering ball, sitting right there, and nicely taken is Terrell Rigney.
The man that started all in the first term.
Nice play there, and by the attacking player there from not exactly who sure it was, but it was a very nice centre clearance.
Jad, I've written him down in my goal kickers list.
Yes.
So, well, Shaden let me down. Let's see if Terrell can keep me honest. But just get a feeling the fans are lined up in that pocket. Gee, he couldn't wheel off and give him a few high fives, could he? We'll certainly see a few celebrations here.
Terrell comes in now with that right foot. Frosty right foot, but just to the right again. I think he's missed a few. He could have had an even bigger bag. 4 will be his goals for now, but still time to add more to that.
So 18-15, 123, a lead of 82 points. And it is, well, a point away from that qualifying final margin here. But, well, there's still plenty of time in this fourth quarter to add a few more goals to their list. And up he went. He took it on the way down, if you don't mind. Wow. Everything is coming up, Bulldogs. And, gee, unfortunately, I really hope it isn't a significant injury here to the defender.
He kicked out a little bit instead of using his knee when he went for the mark. So
last thing you need. Losing grand final to have an injury just to go along with it. But
maybe it could have been a free kick, to be honest, because I know they're not meant to usually kick when they are going for those big speckies. But
good spot.
In the moment, you know, it's a bit hard to control what your legs do when you're going for a big fly.
It's a good spot. They tend to let those ones go, the umpires, don't they? Unless they use the hands in any particular way. But we have seen AFL level and doing anything dangerous in the marking contest. I agree. It should definitely be picked up on. But
here comes now.
They won't care at all.
And
they've left a bit on the scoreboard with a few behinds in a row. But they embrace. The fans embrace. And the party begins.
Number 5 for Brandon Rigney. I knew he wasn't finished when he got the other one. He had the audacious snap from the boundary line, which just hit the post. So he was really going for as many goals as he can here, and he's happy with that one. Another big celebration towards that cheer squad in the pocket.
They don't know which side of the ground to run to because there's the original fans all seated on that far wing. There's a group of really loud, perhaps reserve players here on this near wing around from the left-hand goal. So back in the middle, almost finding Harrison. Does find Harrison now. He's worn the pink boots, and he hasn't been too bad, so he's lived up to those. A free kick here is going the way of Bradley Anderson. He's had time at Hope Valley the past 7 or 8 years. Come back here to Houghton, and he's been named in the best 8 of his 18 games. So we're one of the best players. And oh, baby! He's put that about 20 rows back, if you don't mind. The forward 6 have had their time in the sun. The defenders can't kick goals, but they can definitely get on the highlights reel with a few golden fists. And he went bang. Here's Harrison looking to add something to the scoreboard. They're going to lock it in their forward 50. And I don't tend to cheer hard for any team when I'm commentating, but I just kind of hope Houghton get themselves a bit of a goal or two just to wrap up this, just to go home with something in this last term. We've ticked over 12. Wherever you may be watching on Filming Footy, it's very kind of you to join us, Jack Moore and Jad Gosson on the call. Here thanks to Dartfish and Filming Footy. We'll bring you a bit of an update score around the grounds if we can, perhaps, in Div 1 Footy and a few other grounds if we can get them at the conclusion of our play today. That game is happening right now on the Filming Footy homepage on the YouTube, as well as a few other country footy games as well. So if you're an Ingle Farm fan, you're going to stick it and lock it on right here. If you're a Houghton fan, well, I wouldn't think too badly of you for switching over at this point. But you can be proud of your boys. Houghton have had a season of success. Not achieving the ultimate glory last year by failing to make a grand final. Pitt takes him on. He's Dispossessed and nicely done by Babiak. Speyer running in, taking a bounce, open territory. He's got someone he's taken afterwards. It's going to be a mark, but it would have been a free kick anyway. This might give the Districts fans something to cheer about. Who else but Kai Vandermeer? He's kicked 4 of their 5 goals, Kai.
Miss.
And he can't make it a handful.
Brandon
Rigney has 5 at one end. Kai, that was a chance to capture a handful this afternoon. They've been led so well by captain Jake Martin this season. 49 goals in 20 games. And vice-captains Cody Sparks and Corey McMartin. Just hasn't been enough against this Ingle Farm juggernaut on grand final day. To come from third to make a grand final is still a pretty good achievement. And can they take a goal back with them to Houghton? I think they can. Something to put in their pocket. As we see on the Dartfish replay, advantage was paid and he just darted away into an open goal. And it was just coming back on. Bit of a non-existent breeze that the wind picked up at the last second, and just something that Houghton District can hang their hat on. 19-15, 129. Lead of 82 points. Houghton District 6-11-47. We've still got half this quarter to play.
We have an update on the cheer squad. Actually, they moved from one pocket to the other. They were told to move to that area. I don't exactly know why, but if you do hear the sound coming through, they'll be from a little bit different angle this time, as they've moved, but I don't suspect there'll be any more.
Or late comeback here on the cards, maybe.
Yeah. Houghton now getting a free kick and into the 50 once again. Over the top is Kai Vandermeer.
Who else? I'm starting to get the feeling there's 3 or 4 Kai Vandermeers out there today.
Yeah, he's been a very much a lightning rod.
Just have a look in the middle of the ground. A couple of Ingle Farm players are having a picnic out there, just taking the chance to just sit down and just enjoy this lovely spring afternoon. There's Vandermeer. He can't collect his 5th.
I think he
was just down with cramp, wasn't he?
I think he was a bit sore, actually, but yeah, it is a bit like that. They're kind of soaking it in, which why not? I guess it's the last quarter, 15 minutes played in the fourth of a grand final. You're going to win. They're just take in the moments and enjoy it along the way.
Just going back to the regular season, 16 wins, 1 loss. That 1 loss coming in round 1, so undefeated since April. And the grand final well won and well secured. They're going forward again. This would be a highlight reel goal! But it's absolutely nowhere near it. Not sure why I got so excited. Houghton coming from third, 10 wins and 7 losses. So a disappointing finish to the season for Para Hills, of course. So would have counted themselves unlucky not to be here today, as the Para Hills fans aren't done yet. They demand a free kick from the umpire. But it's going to be last possession anyway in that far pocket. Tough kick from there. But the way things are going for the Farmers, so you wouldn't put it past him.
Yeah, he gets a sip of water before he kicks it as well. So
might it be a Rigney?
Just refilling. Lucky for him, taking his run up from the water spot. So getting refreshments and kicking it just behind.
So we've just ticked over, we're just ticking up to 17 minutes played in this last quarter. Not too many goals added to the tally. 3 for the Dogs and none, unfortunately, for the Raiders in this fourth quarter. So might not be as long as a quarter as the third and second, and that's a high one. Brings a bit of snow down with it. Oh, that's a mark and a half. Had his eyes on that and just tensed the elbows and the vice-like grip. He's going to go back from 50. And I said a moment ago, the defenders don't get much of a time in the sun to put themselves on the scoreboard. He's going to give this one everything he's got from there. He's kicked that like an absolute mung. It's going to land right in the lap of Rigney, but he couldn't take it. Oh, everything's coming up Bulldogs, and you just thought that was going to roll their way as well. Bit of run off the half-back flank from Harrison now.
Takes the mark on the wing and plays on immediately. Sprinting towards the boundary line, but then takes that kick to try and keep it in, and it goes out in the full. So really made the angle hard for himself when he's running in the opposite direction. He intends to kick it, and it did go out in the full. So they go across now, trying to switch the play through Sandercock. Nothing on for the switch, so just looking down the line, going to have to play on and just kick it long down the line now. 3-on-1 here, going the way of Houghton, and they should get away with it, but the backup's coming now. They still haven't got rid of it, and it's just going to be a contested type of situation. It'll be ball up.
Just returning back to those players who are stalwarts of their club. Sean Grimley in the 6 for Houghton, played his 150th game in the qualifying final. A one-club player, so some real milestones and celebrations for both these sides. And a couple are on the Ingle Farm side of the rostrum. Aidan McAleer in the 3, his 150th game in round 11, so congratulations to him. We've mentioned numerous times Mason Pitt, 2nd in the league, Div 7 best and fairest count. Terrell Rigney, 3rd in that count. And Bradley Sanderson, who's kicked 46 goals in 16 games. Also, Jack Delchow in the 24, played his 100th in round 17. And Matty Smith in the 30, his 200th in the prelim final. A one-club player, all those games coming with Ingle Farm. And finally, 55, Maurice Sandry. His 100th game way back in round 1, but also a one-club player. So not only a season of success, season of milestones, and it just seems to be just the cherry on top for these doggies.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see how they go. Now they've got the opportunity in Div 6. They can try and push on, and they've got a good bunch of players, as you mentioned, experience in some areas, and also some young ones coming through, so it'll be good. And of course, Houghton Raiders, of course, in Div 6 as well. They'll want to push on and find that form that put them in this position to begin with, and they can maybe do some damage in Div 6. You never know.
Mark taken. The celebration continues. The coronation is on. They just need a couple more goals, and some of those fans are just about ready to jump at the fence. I hope they don't, because they might be kicked out. They might miss the celebrations after the game, but plenty of time after this one goes final. So jump on the field. The journeyman Martin. Soak it up, Doggies fans. It's your year. It's going to be a big, big night out at the Ingle Farm Sporting Club. I dare say their most successful over the bar for some time. Jai Martin adds his name to the goal kicker sheet. The journeyman, we mentioned him before, he's played for Ardrossan, Aldinga, Salisbury North, Kilburn and Paraka. One of a few players who have been around the traps, and they've come to unite in this Ingle Farm lineup, and the stars have aligned in 2023. Margin blows out, 20 goals, 16, 136, 613, 49, 87 points. Kicking in danger, going the way of the Raiders here, as Pitt comes out of the middle. For me, Jad, Pitt has been a class above, real classy user in that midfield today.
Yeah, he's not the biggest guy you'll see, but he just runs all day and very clean with it, which sums up Ingle Farm's way they've been playing this game. Yeah, he just pops up all over the field. Houghton do get a mark here, and it is Kai Vandermeer again.
Goodness
so
me.
Going for his 5th, I believe, and he's really stepped up and been
Apparently
a
they
threat
knew he
in the attacking
existed
defence.
in the first quarter. They didn't kick him at all in the first quarter.
Takes that kick nicely, but just keeps drifting and goes a little bit to the left. So can't add to his 4 goals, but he'll be happy with his individual efforts. But when you lose a grand final, of course, that doesn't mean too much. But he has been a class, and he'll be, of course, wanting to build on that next season and try and get the same type of output as they go on. He did kick 4 goals last week as well, so adding another 4 today. 2 finals in a row is a good effort.
I've come into this game, Ingle Farm, with 5 players who have averaged more than 2.5 goals a game, compared to Houghton District, who have only come in with 1 player in that tally. And, 20 goals to 6. It has definitely shown to be that way. The offensive juggernaut, defensively sound, well coached. And coming out of the middle, and they're looking for one more. On the back of it is a one-handed juggle. Put a bit of Velcro on the end. Stuck the Duke out, reeled it in, and said, that one's mine. I want to add my name to the goal-kicking sheet. He's put his head down. He's not passing this one off, is he?
Nah, Aidan McAleer, very nicely taken, and he wants to add a goal to the goal sheet. He's hasn't got one yet, so he'll be looking for this one.
Aidan McAleer, 150th in round 11. The one-club player He's Ingle Farm through and through. Gee, he bleeds white and green. And he holds the hand up and he says, sorry, mate, had a few options to pass it off to. But when you're 90 points up in the fourth quarter of a grand final, I think you're entitled to go back and take your shot.
Yeah, 100%. And as a one club player, he would have wanted that opportunity, so why not? And just a little bit too excited, I think, with that kick. They come out and nicely taken mark by Houghton. Bradley Anderson.
Cody Catchpole on the Houghton bench, just exchanging a few pleasantries there, but Cody's just got to point one finger up to the scoreboard, and I dare say the Houghton bench will hush pretty quickly.
Evans now looking forward. Any options for him in the forward line, and just bangs it down towards Mayo, just couldn't take it, and Houghton just trying to get any kind of score they can, but here is again Mason Pitt. Cleans up nicely, pops up where you needed him, and beautiful kick just to switch play, and the run is on again through Terrell Rigney now on the wing.
They got a loose man in defence here, Houghton, and it might not get there.
Jai Martin was excited to run onto the goals, but was he pushing the back, and Houghton just get a kick away. Bit of a long drive up to Ingle Farm, but they'll enjoy it all the way there, and big celebration, I assume, in the club today. They'll be very happy with this win, I imagine.
I dare say a few Ubers might be called for a few Ingle Farm supporters if they spend a bit of time after this one. Here we go.
And now through the middle, trying to get back on the goal sheet, and they do, is Houghton through Andy Reid, kicking his first for the day.
Pretty happy Andy Reid bobbed up there. 3 times best in 5 games. And he's come a long way. He's one of the most experienced blokes in this team. Haven't seen much of him. He's had time under 18 reserve level for Sturt and Norwood, if you can believe. He played for Broadview in 2012 and 13 and Div 1 footy. Long time ago, of course. He spent the past few seasons at Glenunga and had time at North Adelaide between 2014 and 16 in the reserves and senior level there as well. So just coming towards the end of his career, he was probably hoping he could cap it off with a flag back to the junior club. Not to be, but he'll take a go home to Houghton.
Yeah, for sure. And I imagine he's one of the leaders, especially in the club. And we talked to Liam Henderson, the vice president of Houghton, earlier, and he said they've got a lot of young players coming through. So he'd be a real shining light and a mentor for all of them ones. And yeah, happy for him to kill a goal in the grand final. Well deserved for him. And he spent time at Glenunga. We know we're flying at the moment in Div 1, so he would have learnt a lot from that program, I'm sure.
Yeah, he played a couple of 3 reserves games, and they were in Div 3. Glenunga, I mean, what a success story they've been. They've come up from Div 5 only about 5 or 6 seasons ago. So, in a Div 1 grand final next week. Should be a high contact free. Umpires missed that, and the tackle's borderline dangerous, I was going to say. Umpire agrees. 26.5 minutes gone. Fourth quarter. Not long now, Bulldogs fans, until you can officially celebrate the first grand final in 10 long seasons for the club. Promotion confirmed at the end of the regular season. Grand final well won, a mark well dropped. His Tanchos has been beautiful. He's led from the front. He takes out a top, and why not when you got Jai Martin on the end of it. It was magnetised towards the chest of Martin. Looks up, might be a bit out of his distance, so he's going to get it straight to the teeth of goals. Having it one way and just pushing his opponent back under the footy. McAleer pushed down to be the key option about 5 metres from goal. And with the siren imminent, we thank you for being with us on Filming Footy, but don't go anywhere because we're going to bring you the full celebrations, medal presentations, and premiership flag presentation at the conclusion of our grand final. Have the Bulldogs got one more goal to add to their tally? Here's Maury Sandry, 100th in round 1. The big fella with the long sleeves. He's going back. He wants a 70-metre goal.
He wants it.
And if he kicks this, I might just jump out of the commentary box. Goodness me, he must be thinking a barrel here. He's unloaded a drop punt. It's on the way. It's just going to fall a metre short, and there's Martin. Not sure if that was the set play. Boy, he got close. That kick must have gone about 65 metres.
He was happy with it off the boot, and why not? What a kick.
Laurie Sandry.
He's still smiling.
He's loving himself, loving his work, and there's not many times you can celebrate before the siren goes. Martin claps his good work. The applause all around Price Memorial Oval. And the grand final, one at the Memorial Oval, is going to live long in the memories of all who call Ingle Farm their home. As the Ingle Farm chant begins. And the crowd is ready to jump over that fence.
They're going to be chanting that all night, I think.
Fingers tingling. And I dare say celebrations lasting until the early hours of tomorrow morning for the doggies. Couple of goals to make it a 100-point gap. They might just run out of time. Just ticked over, 29 gone. Beautiful afternoon for footy.
Sandry in the ruck now. Just taps it down, but finds Evans. Houghton trying to add one last goal here. Their defence, though, still holding up, even though they're winning.
Ingle Farm celebrators are chanting for the siren.
They've wanted the siren for about half the game of this.
You think it was them wanting to be put out of their misery. If I was an Ingle Farm supporter, I want this game to go on for an extra few quarters.
They're just ready to start running on the field, I think.
It's been an exhibition from the Bulldogs, hasn't it? From the word go as well. Burst out of the blocks. 5-goal gap, 44-point gap at halftime. 67 it was at three-quarter time. And it stands at 87 points. As the Dogs just chip it around. And they add a few layers to their premiership cake. Spread a bit of cream on top of that one. Is there to be a couple more cherries? We'll find out.
Sandry just pushing forward again, still looking for that goal. Here he is, trying to take this mark, but it just falls a bit short of him.
Another long quarter here. We've ticked over 30 and a half. And the Ingle Farm supporters are about ready to riot in the best possible way, of course. They're ready to...
A happy riot.
Encapsulate their men. There it is! And the dog days are over for Ingle Farm. 10 years since their last premiership success. It is the year of the dog in 2023. And don't those dogs have some bite. Ingle Farm, your Div 7 2023 premiers.
Fantastic scenes here. All the supporters who are waiting to jump on, they just rush towards them, and a big pack forming with the celebration. Yeah, congratulations to Ingle Farm, everyone involved in that football club, from the coaches and the volunteers that all make this all possible, and commiserations, of course, for Houghton District. Very good season. They get promoted either way, and probably were not favourites to make the grand final, and they did that in the end, so they'll be sad today, but overall a successful season. But yeah, it's all about the Dogs, and they really put on a show here today and showed why they were that dominant team of the division, and ended the season with the way that they've been working for all year. And yeah, congrats to them.
Well, if you're from Ingle Farm, a suburb which sprung up out of the ground from farmland over 100 years ago, they sing the song. Celebration officially begins. Commiserations to Houghton Districts. Deserve their place in the grand final, but it was a step too far to climb over the Ingle Farm juggernaut. A suburb, as I was saying, sprung up in farmland over 100 years, and 100 years of just sowing that seed, and in 2023 on this warm afternoon in September, well, they've reaped those fields. Just so happens to be about a 20-kilometre drive from their home ground, but they won't care. They go home victorious, and They're going to give Division 6 a bit of a rattle. They've compiled a pretty competitive group of lads. Couple of players in the top 3 of the best and fairest in the division. And a true exhibition of football from Ingle Farm this afternoon.
Yeah, for sure. And as you mentioned, it's definitely a community family club. There's a few sets of brothers there, and their B team and their C team all making the grand final. So, yeah, good depth in their thing, and they'll be very keen to just push on in Div 6 and show everyone their qualities for sure. And yeah, they're a tight-knit group. They got a lot of supporters, as we saw, come all this way just to support them, so they'll be on the ride next year as well. But for now, they get to celebrate this victory in a wonderful season in their regard for them.
So we'll keep it right here. Don't move a muscle. We're going to stick with you on filming footy and capture the presentations as they take place, and they won't be too far away. Final score in the Div 7 2023 Grand Final. Ingle Farm 21 goals, 18 behinds, 144. Houghton District 7 goals, 15 behinds, 57. A final margin of 87 points. Look up comprehensive in the dictionary, Jad, and you see that scoreboard.
86 points in this first final they played, and 87 this time.
Just wanted to go one better, didn't they?
Yeah, exactly.
They weren't happy with an 86-point win. They
Exactly.
just wanted to one up themselves, and they have done that, adding an extra point to their tally. And the kids are running around. And a few words on Houghton District. A successful season. I know when you lose a grand final, it feels like there is no tomorrow. But when they step back and they take a look at when Kyron Lovell, I should say, assesses this season, alongside his leaders, Jake Martin as captain, Corey McMartin vice captain, and Cody Sparks as vice captain. In their 40th year as a club, their last flag in 1999. The wait goes on for that, but along with Ingle Farm, they push up a division, and we all know when you go to that next level up, the attraction for players to join your club just becomes a little bit more attractive.
Yeah, for sure. And Div 6 is actually the division I've been following most of the season, and they'll be suited to that division. There's a few there that they could definitely fancy their chances over. No disrespect to them, of course, but just in terms of the quality we've seen out there today and throughout the season from Houghton Districts. Also, they're a tight-knit team, and we noticed a lot of the players from those Teacher Gully region, Modbury region, so they'll know each other growing up, and through the divisions they'll be disappointed with today, but overall once the dust settles, they'll be happy to go up and challenge themselves in Div 6. And they won the reserves, which was a bit of a upside for them this season, just the game before this one. So if any of those young players can push on and really help the A team with depth or find a bit of form over the off season, they could go a long way of shaking up the Div 6 as well. So both these teams well placed to keep success going on in the future.
And we've seen exactly what you can do from Sacred Heart moving up from Div 2 to Div 1, and they almost reached the grand final, and they just fell short last week, of course, against Tea Tree Gully. But just going up a division doesn't mean you're going to get relegated straight away. And the club that Houghton are, they're so successful behind the scenes. They're organised well. Their coach is re-signed, which is a vote of confidence, of course, in him and the way they've been playing all season. And that makes players want to stay as well and commit. The stability at a football club is really important. As you mentioned, in Div 6 next year, they'll be playing alongside the likes of Salisbury, Fitzroy, Central United, Adelaide Lutheran, Rosewater, St Paul's Old Scholars, and one out of Marion, Greenacres and Salisbury. Well, not Marion are in the grand final. They'll be in Div 5 next year. So a few clubs there who didn't exactly put together inspiring seasons in Div 6. So both Ingle Farm and both Houghton will be, their aim, of course, as it is whenever you go up a division, will be to maintain your spot as they sing the song one more time.
Also, we talked about what can happen when they get up. So Greenacres as well from that, were in Div 7 last year and a second in Div 6 this year. So definitely possible for both these teams to push on, and yeah, we'll see what happens.
All right, as we wait for the presentations to officially commence, they'll be on the near wing here at Price Memorial Oval at the home of Mitcham Hawks. We'll just bring you updated with a few scores around the grounds. In Div 1 footy, Prince Alfred have ended the spirited season of Tea Tree Gully. What a run by the Gullies. They made finals by, under half of a percent in 5th spot, and then won on the road at Port District and took down Sacred Heart at the senior school last week, but their spirited year has come to an end. Prince Alfred 115, Tea Tree Gully 38 late in the 4th quarter. So it'll be a Prince Alfred Glenunga grand final. Gee, I'm licking my lips for that one.
Yeah, they just versed last week. It was a very close contest there, so a repeat of that one.
And misery for Foss Camden, unfortunately. Foss finished in 3rd, and they made it through to the prelim first. But Payneham Norwood Union, who finished in 2nd, would have expected to make the grand final. Now they've taken down Foss Camden 82-41 in the prelim at Foss to book their place in the grand final against Golden Grove on a bit of a tear, aren't they? Up in Division 1 footy for Golden Grove. I didn't think I'd ever be saying those words, but they'll be in Div 1 next season, regardless of the result next week in the grand final.
And Payneham as well, yeah.
Indeed. Just scrolling through Play HQ and trying to head down the divisions to bring you some updates. Let's head to Div 3. And haven't got any scores from the Modbury and Unley Mercedes Jets match, but Flinders Park have booked their place in that grand final. Players and celebrations still going on, but we'll keep the stream going so you at home can soak in all the feelings at Price Memorial Oval. As the sun is still out, not a cloud on the sky, I've got to say. The weather conditions weren't a factor at all today. It was a beautiful spring afternoon here. We look at Div 4, and goodness me, the upset of all upsets here. Paraka have been, thrashed by CBC Old Collegians. 112-66, that was at Stratorama Oval in Glenelg. As we see the presentations here, and a best on ground about to be awarded. Heard him correctly. I think the umpires have given that to, looks like possibly Cameron Sandercock. We'll wait till he turns around. Yes, it is. So Cameron Sandercock, the Ingle Farm Junior, and he's played a bit of footy with Tea Tree Gully in Div 1 and 2 between 2015 and 2022. He's Corin Lovell, coach of Houghton Districts.
Support staff, our trainers who catch up with our lads all the time, the young lads who came out around the water today, thank you so much. All the other club coaches, the office department, the board, the committee, Mel, our president, my assistants, Liam, AR, Bern, Jesse, and Troy, thank you so much for everything that you do. Lastly not least, the Big boys. So proud of what we've done this year. We're able to reconnect halfway through the year, make a run through the year. Throughout the club, you can feel through the whole place.
Go you Ravens! Hold your heads up high!
Thank you very much.
Thank you to his group, thanking the umpires. As we were saying, real momentum for Houghton to carry through Div 6 next season. Coach of Ingle Farm, Kerry Payne. So Ingle Farm players about to be welcomed up to collect their premiership medals in an 87-point grand final win. It was an enjoyable afternoon for Bulldogs fans from the first minute to the last. So we start with number 1, Mason Pitt.
Number 3, Aidan McAleer.
Number 3, Aidan McAleer.
Number 5, Jai Martin.
Number 5, Jai Martin.
6 with the trick,
6,
Tom Norbury.
Thomas Norbury. His own personal cheer squad, it seems, Norbury. Number 7,
Number
Cody
7,
Catchpole.
With the helmet.
Must sleep with the helmet, I think.
Number 8, Jake
Number 8, Jake Hogan. Hope Cody's mum's watching. He's still got the helmet on. Something they do at the junior level and they carry it on, don't they? So.
Number 9,
Number 9, Adrian Harris. Number 11, the first of the Rigneys, Terrell Rigney, third in the Div 7, best and fairer, 64 goals from 18 games. He already has a sponsor's beverage in his hands too. I'm definitely sure it won't be his last. Number 12, Shaden Rigney, his first year back at the club. What a year to reunite with your brothers. Number 15, Tyson Rigney, the third of the 4 Rigney brothers. Also his first year back after being at Ardrossan in 2022. Number 16, Brandon Maguire, a Hectorville junior. Well loved, it does seem as well. Number 17, Bradley Sanderson, 237 goals in 118 games for Ingle Farm. The definition of a one-club player and a stalwart for the Farmers. Number 19, Cameron Sandercock, who also received the best on ground from the umpires. An Ingle Farm junior, had time at Tea Tree Gully, played some Div 1 footy up there.
Number 22, Lachlan Sandercock.
Number 22, Lachlan Sandercock, played footy at Freeling for a season. A Tea Tree Gully junior, and he's returned to Ingle Farm this season after 8 years away. Number 23, Nathan Barker, one club player, and the cheers support that fact. Well loved. Number 24, Jack Delchow. 100th game in round 17. Number 30, Matt Smith, the 200th game in the prelim, and also a one-club player for the Farmers. Number 32, Jordan Pernahaig, who kicked a few goals this afternoon. The journeyman, Salisbury West, Brahma Lodge, Para Hill, Central United, and victory today for Ingle Farm. 52, Devon Payne, named in the best 7 of his 13 games, 25 goals in 13 games this season. Top 10 best and fairest. 54, Brandon Rigney. He's done it all. He's come back home this season to play for the senior team.
Number 55,
Maury Sandry, who tried to unload a 70-metre bomb, which almost got there in the 4th quarter. 100th game in round 1. One club player, made his debut in the senior team in 2016. And their captain saved until last because he is a leader. He is now a premiership captain, Daniel Tanchos. Been with the club 3 seasons, spent time at Hope Valley and St. Paul's. So many spiritual acts this afternoon. The assistant coaches received their awards here as well. Certainly is a team effort, not just the coaches or the players, it's the supporters, the parents, the brothers, the sisters. Senior coach Kerry Payne, who spoke to Tony Neal during the week about a whole club effort, not just led by one player. And they truly shared the joy, and they'll be able to share in the success as captain and coach. Unite and embrace now premiership coach Kerry Payne and premiership captain Daniel Tanchos. The Div 7 premiership flag is not too far away from being presented here.
Ingle Farm, congratulations. Division 7 Premiership 2023.
There is the trophy. It's theirs. They can hold it up. The crowning glory on a domination in Div 7 footy. Celebrations complete for now. I'm sure they'll go on late into the night as Ingle Farm receive their premiership trophy, the flag, their medals, and as I said, brilliantly led by Coach Kerry Payne and Captain Daniel Tanchos all season as they embrace in what looks to be a huddle for one last time in season 2023. They might just belt the song out one final time. Here they go with a bit of gusto. What a season, what a year, what a day, what a premiership, what a team. On paper it was theirs, but you still have to rock up on the day and make it yours. And boy, they did that. This one was over from the 5-minute mark of the opening quarter. They bust out to a 30-point lead at quarter time. 44 at half time, 67 at three-quarter time, and a final margin of 87 points. As for the final time today, we welcome you back in here to the Filming Footy trailer in the booth. Jack Moore and Jad Gosden. Jad, what a privilege of being in a Div 7 grand final. Any grand final, both teams have the absolute, privilege and no right to be in a grand final, but both teams well and truly deserving of being in this match. But it was one-way traffic from, the opening throw-up from the umpire, wasn't it?
Yeah, that's right, and both teams did very well to get to the grand final. We talked about how Houghton came the long way round in finishing in third and done very well to make it, but ultimately the team that was leading most of the season and that really showed their dominance, only losing once and that coming in the first round, as we talked about all the way through, they were the team that finished as premiers and much deserved premiers as that. So yeah, they'll be very happy with that one. They'll celebrate long and hard, and then before you know it, pre-season starts for next season. But
so
for now, they can definitely enjoy it, and much deserved premiership in Div 7.
Indeed. So wherever you may be of joining us live, free and exclusive around the world here on Filming Footy, don't forget, we're just getting started with grand final season. Next week, Div 1 all the way through to Div 6, all grand finals streamed live, free and exclusive, thanks to Dartfish Sportal on Filming Footy YouTube. Check out the Adelaide Footy League Facebook page during the week for more interviews and more content from the team, as well a few mouth-watering grand finals next week, not least the Div 1 grand final between Glenunga and Prince Alfred, and a few of the Div 2 to Div 6 grand finals will definitely be previewed and look forward to during the week. Jad, it's been an absolute privilege being alongside you. Thanks to our producer, Will Laws, and our whole Filming Footy crew. Final thoughts on what has been Ingle Farm's crowning glory, their first premiership in 10 seasons.
Yeah, much deserved for them, and they were the better team on the day and better team all season. So yeah, congrats to everyone involved in that football club, from the coach to the players to all the volunteers that help out, the fitness people, the medical staff. So congratulations to them, and yeah, been a pleasure commentating with you too, Jack.
Indeed. So it's a final farewell from Price Memorial Oval on this beautiful Saturday afternoon as the sunny day turns into a cool night. We take one more look over at the Ingle Farm contingent, still assembling on the near wing, and it's going to be a party long into the night, and I dare say there might be a few sickies pulled on Monday for a few associated with this Ingle Farm Football Club. It's been a day of the dog, and the Bulldogs record a grand final victory by 87 points. What a day for Ingle Farm, long burned into the memory of all those who bleed green and white. As for Houghton, they'll join Ingle Farm in Division 6 next season, so also a successful year for the Raiders. As we leave you from Price Memorial Oval, a Div 7 Grand Final day, it's an Ingle Farm party, and it really is the year of the dog.